on. Oh, there you go. Hey, y'all. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome to Saturday with me. Hey, Miss Diversity. I already said hello, but I'm gonna say it again inside the chat. Good afternoon. Welcome. Welcome. Hey, y'all. Hey, y'all. Hey, y'all. So I'm gonna be doing a lot of looking down because, as you see, we're talking about politics and information and things like that. So let me start this out by saying, if you haven't already hit that like button for me. Good afternoon. This is Saturday, and I hope everybody's having a great weekend. We're going to talk about the 45th presidency and what it did for America and what it did for us, what it means to us, and what it means moving forward. Normally, I'm going to preface this with a few things because I need to let everybody know where I stand on certain items and issues because of what we're talking about today. Um, and these are not middle of the road, straddle the fence. This is where I stand, period. Um, I am 100% for black women, all women, but black women in particular, and women of color. On this on this subject, there is no question. Um, I am not a Democrat or a Republican. I am not a conservative or a liberal. I have views on each side, but I do, however, believe right is right. I do not judge you. I don't like across the board. As I've stated on many occasions, there is no particular thing, not anything physical that you can't control that would make me like or dislike you. Not the color of your skin, not your ethnicity, not your culture, none of that. It's the person moving forward. It's. But that being said, stereotypically, the black and the white community have certain stereotypes and certain things that are attributed to each community. Some good, some bad. Within each community. Um, it's all men. And when I say all men, let me say this. When women say all men, when they say they're scared, when they say they're fearful, when they say they don't do certain things because they're scared of the outcome, and they say all men this and all men that, we know it's not all men. But unless you come with a warning sign that you stick on your forehead, we don't know you're not that man. So when a woman says all men, if you are not the man she's talking about, it doesn't apply to you. So please don't get upset when women say that. That is what they mean. A lot of times they can't articulate what they mean because in the moment everybody's mad, everybody's arguing, everybody's discussing. Can't articulate when you say all men. You don't necessarily, you don't mean all men because nothing is absolute. There are no 100% in anything. There's no perfection, either good or bad. But women are dying for telling a man no. Women are dying for declining dinner for declining dinner. What do you call when you ask somebody out on a date? Dinner request or telephone number request. So when women say all men, that's why. Those are just a few things. And I'm just trying to get you to understand where I stand on certain things. So moving forward, that is what it is. Now, 45th presidency was President Trump, was Donald Trump. He was arrested this weekend in Georgia on several counts, including some RICO charges. Uh, what is RICO charges are basically what they charge mobsters and drug dealers with to not just charge one person, but to charge an entire conspiracy, an entire group of people working together for one criminal outcome. RICO charges are federal, and hey, just Krista, and he has several indictments. I'm not going to go into the specifics of those indictments. I will be looking up certain things just so I'm not incorrect. I am not speaking on anything but my opinion on certain things. This is not anything but my opinion about the 45th presidency, what it showed the world, and what it means for us moving forward. That's it. That's it. So him and the people that were in his cabinet that he worked with during his presidency, several of them have been arrested. A lot of them for the January 6th insurrection that was trying to overthrow the government and overturn the presidency and install him as the 46th president, disavowing the election that happened and removing the duly elected president, Joe Biden. That's what the insurrection was about. They stole the election and Trump is president and we did all this and that's what happened. That's what the insurrection was about. Voter fraud and da 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 da. So what I want is people as you're coming in and out of the chat, as you watch this in the replay, think about what was different in the 43rd, 45th presidency, the 40, the 30, the 43rd and 44th presidency, because that was Obama, the 45th presidency, and how the world is now. I wish it could go all the way for him because he is older now, but he has to go through this. Trump, I don't believe anybody is too old to go to jail. Now I'm just, it is what it is. I don't believe anybody is too old to go to jail. I mean, if I do something at 56 or 66 or 76, then it's a possibility I'm gonna have my old ass in jail. Yeah, age does not preclude you from. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. People always say, We're supposed to, elders and the elders of the community and older people of the community, uh, respect your elders. We give them passes because they're old. Who you feel sorry for, baby? Trump? Why? Well, he's not even in jail now. I mean, he was arrested, but he got out of jail. He's not in jail. You're forgiving. Here's the thing about forgiving. When you forgive somebody, that means, to me, again, these are my opinions. The person has to stop what they're doing that causes you to forgive them. You understand what I'm saying? If somebody is if you forgive your spouse for cheating on you, past tense, you don't forgive your spouse for continuing to cheat on you. You forgive somebody for an action they have committed and completed. You don't forgive somebody for the action continuing to this day. I'm not, and I have said it before, and I don't know. I don't know what that makes me. Uh, I have to take that up in the afterlife. I don't forgive. And here's why I don't forgive. You knew what you were doing. Forgiveness is not for me. People say that, but people who want to be forgiven are the people who did the thing that you've forgiven them for. I gotta forgive for me so I can be better. Did you forget? I don't forget. I forgot. And I'm not. And here's the thing. I'm gonna go out on a shaky limb here. I don't hate Trump. I think Trump did something that would have happened eventually, just slower. Trump opened up America's eyes to the hypocrisy of America. Trump said back in the 80s or the late 80s or the early 90s that if he were to run for president, he would run as a Republican because they're stupid, because they will eat up what he says, they will take what he says as gospel, and he will win as a Republican because Republicans are stupid. He said that out of his mouth, but then realized Trump has said several things out of his mouth that somebody else would have been fired for, arrested for, investigated for. So I don't think people really pay attention to what he says. But that's what he said in an interview. I forget what show he was on in the interview when he still had his hair and wasn't just combing it over. He said that's what he would do, and that's what he did. He ran under a party that needed a figurehead so that they could display their different isms all over America, so they could burn flags again, so they could proudly wear swastikas and say "Sieg Heil" like when in the 40s with Hitler, so that they could put their masks on and protest against everything. Huh?
Hello?
Hello.
I'm sorry I'm not on there because, girl, I look busted today.
No, that's
Okay.
fine. You got me
It's
on.
all right.
I'm on because baby wouldn't let me not. So that's the only reason you see my face.
I don't know why, but when I seen that mugshot, I knew it was real.
But
All, all the other times I was like, okay, they never did a mugshot. They just got him coming to court, this and that. And I'm here in New York. So it's like,
those were
okay,
civil trials. Those were civil trials before. The things that Trump was going to court for, those were not criminal cases. He was
okay,
being sued for sexual assault, and they were suing him. They weren't trying him. The
okay,
women who had been affected by what he did were
right,
suing him.
right.
So no, he wouldn't have a mugshot for that.
Okay. Okay.
So those
But
those were those were those were those were cases of women who have been sexually assaulted by him over the years, bringing those cases to court as civil trials. In a civil trial, you don't have a mugshot, you don't get arrested, you don't get fingerprinted. You just litigious. You sue somebody. If you got the money in the paperwork, you put it down and you go in and come in. That's all.
okay. But the other day when I was at work and they was like, "Girl, did you see his mugshot?" I said, "Man, y'all, this is real."
It's real, but here's the thing. To
Mhm.
me, I don't think anybody's above that. Had
Yeah.
it been Obama doing the exact same thing that he's doing,
Right.
or any crime, let's just say
Yeah.
this, any actual crime, I don't think anybody is above a mugshot. I don't think anybody is above arresting. I don't think anybody is above their day in court,
Right.
because that is what the systems are set in place for. And if we have people, any people, rich people, poor people, black people, white people, that the system doesn't apply to, then the system doesn't work. If it
Okay.
only applies, if it only applies to the black and brown, the system doesn't work. If it only applies to the poor, the system doesn't work, because it's not just the black and the brown and the poor that are causing the problem. And they're not causing problems on a in a national scale or a global scale. These are, most of the time when you see a mug shot on here, it's a one off.
Okay.
If somebody committed a singular crime, they murdered somebody, they robbed somebody, they kidnapped somebody, they assaulted somebody. It's a singular crime that affects the person who did the crime, the person who the crime was committed against, and the families around both. That's what it affects. People like Trump and those particular people, they
Mhm.
affect us.
Right.
He affects us. As president, he affected us.
Yeah.
And he affected us negatively.
Mhm.
One of the reasons why I'm going to start with COVID, because that was a very big and a very drastic change in America.
Right. Mhm.
Pandemic. It was something we had not went through since the flu back in the 20s. Understand,
Mhm.
100 years later, what is this? What is this? 2020? It was 2020. It was like 1920 something since the last pandemic.
Mhm.
When he became president, there are certain there as president as government officials, there are certain processes to do everything. And
Yeah.
realistically, the president is a figurehead.
Right.
If I were to
Mhm.
explain the presidency to somebody, it's like the president's GM of Walmart, of your Walmart. The
Mhm.
president, whoever the president is at the time, is the GM of that country.
Mhm.
Is he the head guy? Sure. But does he do the day to day work in this? No, he doesn't.
Mhm.
That's why you have so many different people that do under him. That's why he has cabinet members and the Senate and the House.
Mhm.
They do the day to day working. However, he does have certain powers that normally, the president only does that in the most severe cases, when it this is the last straw. We couldn't
Mhm.
get the Senate to do it. We couldn't get the House to do it. So
Mhm.
let me see if we can get the president to sign this order. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
I think
He
his
probably.
biggest thing was he wanted to run it like he run his
Oh, I
business.
was. But okay, most
And
of his businesses
huh?
fail. Most of his
Yeah.
businesses fail. Most
And
of
then
them fail.
there's a lot of his businesses that I didn't realize a lot of the people just hide behind his name,
Yep.
but the businesses don't even belong to him.
Nope.
And that's where a lot of because one of the guys was down in our cafeteria and he was talking about it. And he was like, a lot of the reasons that they're really not trying to get too
They
into
never
a lot of stuff Huh?
No, I just said, hey, Deborah. I just spoke to somebody came in.
Oh, okay. Hey, everybody. A lot of reason that they're not really getting too much into stuff is because a lot of this stuff he doesn't own. And so when it comes down,
Realistically, Trump didn't own most. Trump doesn't own most of that stuff.
right.
Most of most rich people, like not with rich. Rich is a relative term. Wealthy,
Yeah.
generational, never have to touch money. Wealthy.
Mm-hmm.
It's not in a single person's name. It's not a single thing. It's a corporation. It's a conglomerate. It's a bunch of folks
Mm-hmm.
because um that's just how it is. I don't know why it's done like that. I don't. I don't know.
Just in case somebody else gets sued or somebody else pass away or somebody else's children and
But the
you know.
problem was the businesses that he did own, the
Mm-hmm.
business that he started specifically, not his father, not his company, not his
Mm-hmm.
conglomerate, but him, they failed. His
Mm-hmm.
university failed.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the things that you see his name on came from the family. His money didn't come from him. His money came from his dad.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And a lot of that is just you can piss away money, but you can't piss away that kind of money. You understand what I'm saying? He
Mm-hmm.
tried his best though. He did good. But he didn't touch certain aspects. The wealthy don't touch all their money. The wealthy don't touch all their money. We would know the wealthy and the wealthy 1% of America. We couldn't fathom the amount of money they have access to,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't touch it like that. But they
Mm-hmm.
do put their names on things, and
Yeah.
people were thinking that he was this awesome businessman. No,
No.
no.
I think his busy. I think his biggest success was the Celebrity Apprentice, which he shouldn't have never quit just to become president because he wouldn't be going through none of this. Because
It.
that's when I liked him. That's when I was just like, oh, Trump. Because I
I
love
agree.
that was my show. I love that show.
See, that's where we get America. I've never liked Trump.
You never
Never, never liked Trump. I didn't like him on The Apprentice. I never watched The Apprentice.
you
I
Celebrity Apprentice really? Lisa.
I don't. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. I don't really. I want my celebrities to do their job.
Acting.
If you're an actor, I want to see you in a movie. I want to see you in a show.
Yeah.
Hold on, do that. Hey Tina, I want to see you in a movie. I want to see you in a show. I want to. That's what I want to see. If you're a singer or an entertainer, I want to hear your song. I want to see you dance. I want to look at your art. I don't want to see. You know what I'm saying? I
You
don't.
don't
I
want to
don't.
see them
I
like
don't
do
want. I
stuff
don't
like
like
real.
reality TV. I don't like reality TV because it's not real. I don't like reality TV. It's like okay, I sing. I'm a singer, so I don't watch singing shows
Yeah.
because I'm judgy. However, I do watch the dance shows because I can't dance.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still artistic, but I can't dance. But I love to see people express themselves. I know that if I watch American Idol or The Voice, I know I'm going to be judgy,
Okay.
so I don't watch them.
Okay.
I love to hear people sing, but I know that if the judges pick this person over this person, I'm gonna have attitude wrong. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm 56. I've been singing since I was 2. What the hell you here? So I don't watch it. I don't
Okay.
watch that. And a lot of times the judges are people that can't sing in real life, but will making money. I
Mm-hmm.
don't. I don't want to see on like on American Idol. I don't want to see Katie, whatever her name is. I don't. You
But
can do
but
drugs and
with
like think that.
Celebrity Apprentice, we was a with
No,
Celebrity
but see, because they were celebrities, do your job. You're not an apprentice. You're not a business person. You're an actress. When Nene was on there, you're nothing. You're a housewife.
hmm
You're nothing. I don't watch the housewives. I don't watch the
Yeah,
housewives.
I don't watch
I don't
all
like
that
the way
stuff.
they do. I don't like the way they do women, and specifically black women. I don't like the way we're portrayed.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I don't watch the housewives. I don't watch.
Because all of us
I don't.
don't go around fighting and beating up on each other because we sitting around having a drink together. That
I watched the hip hops until it was nothing. Until it, I love. I watched the love and hip hops until it was nothing about. Until it was just about making us look the way we were looking on there.
hmm
When everything became reality, I
hmm
stopped watching reality TV. I watch ID channel because somebody died, and I watch movies and TV. I watch if I want to watch something. I want to escape. I want to be away from my regular day. You know what I'm saying?
hmm
I don't, I never, okay, okay. See, you're from New York. How old are you? Not trying to be
I'm
funny. You ain't got to say it. I mean,
this
you can ball for me.
girl. I love telling people my age. I'm 52. I'll be 53 in November.
So you're from New York. The New
hmm
York, the New York Five.
I'm from
The
Upper.
No, no, but you still were in New York during the time when the five young boys were sent to jail for
Oh,
raping and a beating the
yeah,
woman in Central Park. Come to find out that they didn't do it.
yeah. Because we had a similar case right here,
Trump
upstate
had
too.
people forget. Trump was taking out full page ads in the New York Times talking about he was calling for their execution.
Oh, I never knew that.
Trump was taking out full page ads.
I never knew that.
Trump's property that him and his father were running back in the
Yeah,
50s, black people weren't allowed.
yeah. I remember that. Yeah,
If you
and
worked at
because
the Trump hotel, if you worked at the hotels, if you worked at the properties, and you were black or brown, you could not come in the front, even after the civil rights, even after everything changed. If you worked there, you came in the back and they never saw you.
never
He
knew
didn't
that.
hire black he didn't hire black people for years if they were going to be in front of to where his customers saw them.
Mm,
The reality is that what Trump did is he made it okay to be racist. He made
yeah.
it okay. He made it okay to come out and say and to do the things that they're doing, like in Texas and Florida with the education system. Like DeSantis in Florida, he made it okay for DeSantis to do what he's doing to Florida. He made it
hmm
okay for DeSantis to collect the undocumented workers, put them on buses, and send them places in the
hmm
middle of the night. He made it okay for schools in Florida to collect 4 and 5 year olds, put them in the lunchroom, and
hmm
tell them that having this happened this past week.
mm
All the black 4 and 5 year olds at a grade school in Florida. It's one particular grade school. I have to look it up.
hmm
Were called out of class for an assembly because of low test scores,
Oh,
and they said that the black children were the reason for the low test scores,
oh.
and that they had a whole PowerPoint presentation, a whole thing saying that basically telling them they were going to end up dead or in jail if they didn't do better. They didn't
Okay.
single out the children who had the higher test scores. They put all the little black kids in the thing, telling them they had to do it this way if this is what they wanted moving forward.
Mm.
What Trump did, he made it okay to say nigga out loud.
hmm
That's what he did. I don't. Trump was not a good president. He wasn't.
Yeah, I didn't care for his I didn't care for his presidents. I didn't.
He
Like I said, the only
opinionated
thing I ever really liked him on was that show because
and
I
see what you
enjoy,
just
and it
said.
wasn't so much him, it was I enjoy seeing celebrities like you know how you like go to a park and
Ain't
you
crazy.
play ball and you do things together. Just like I think I get excited when I see like YouTubers meet up and then
Yep.
they're all together and they're doing things. It's
Right.
exciting to see them outside of their normal like behind the camera, getting footage and stuff that they want to share with us. It's to me, I don't know, it's something exciting about seeing them like outside of that doing something a little that we do every like a person like me do every day, you know. And that's why I say it wasn't so much him, but it was like that was like the only thing. And I never did a whole lot of homework on Trump, but and I think and it's sad to say this, but there's so much racism here in New York State, period, that we kind of like overlook some things. Or you
Right.
get to the place where you be like, well, this don't affect me and mine. You know what I'm saying? And it's so sad that we feel that way, but because it's
That's
so much of that.
reality. I mean,
Yeah.
it should be sad, but it's reality. But
Yeah.
also, I have to look at it this way. Not to say that it didn't happen because it did, but
Yeah.
before Trump made it okay,
Mm-hmm.
I gave Nick the speech. Nick don't have. I don't worry about Nick going out and seeing get drug dealers and gang members and this and the third. I have to
Mm-hmm.
warn Nick about the police.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't as prevalent before.
Mm-hmm.
Every time we turn around, a black or brown person is getting shot and killed for running a stoplight,
Mm-hmm.
for going over the speed limit,
Mm-hmm.
and nothing's being done about it. It's okay. We overlook it. The first thing we say is, "What were they doing?"
Mm-hmm.
We don't ask why the police are so quick to shoot. The first thing we say is, "What was a dead person doing to get dead?"
Mm-hmm. And that's
How
not
did you
fair.
pull, how did you pull a man over because he had a tail light out and now he's
Mm-hmm.
laying in the middle of the road dead? How did you go
Mm-hmm.
from tail light out to dead? Because you
Mm-hmm.
feared for your life. No, because when you make the environment desirable for something,
Mm-hmm.
then you see who really thrives in that environment.
Mm-hmm.
45 made it so racism was okay. It
Mm-hmm.
was okay to stop a delivery man and tell him to get out of your neighborhood and go back to your country. It was okay to scream at people in Walmart because they were talking another language on the telephone.
Mm-hmm.
It was okay for you to, because the president can do it,
Mm-hmm.
because they don't say anything to police when they shoot somebody. So it's got to be okay for me to walk up to this random lady in this line at Starbucks, a nigga.
Mm-hmm.
And people don't understand that that's the I don't know. Hey, Blanche.
And and you know what else?
Uh-huh.
It's crazy, but do you know that people, even when they come into the hospitals and stuff, they'll like, some people are so racist that they will say they don't want a black or Hispanic or nobody but a white or Caucasian, however you want to say it, person wait, like doing their medical stuff.
The
And
brawl, the Montgomery brawl, is a prime example of what you just said.
hmm
After the brawl, the gentleman that started it, the three white guys, they got beat
hmm
up, went to a
hmm
hospital. The entire staff was black. They
hmm
left. I don't want a nigga working on me at this hospital. Where are the
Mm,
white doctors? Where are the white nurses? And when they said, this is it, they left.
mm. Yeah, they.
Doctors will go into a doctors, PD, OBGYNs will go into a room with a black pregnant woman and
Mm-hmm,
disregard what she's saying.
mm-hmm.
They will treat the two. You can have two, and there is no such thing as perfection in the perfect world. That's not how it would be. And
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to like me. You don't have to like anybody.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But if I have two women if I have two women come into my office, both pregnant at the same time, and the only difference between those two women is one is white and one is black,
Mm-hmm.
I should assume that you're not going to listen to the black woman.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't. Do you know that they still teach that black people process pain differently than white people?
Yeah, I believe it.
They still teach that. They still teach
Mm-hmm.
that black people are less susceptible to pain, which is why they when a black person comes in, and that's why you have all these viral videos. Black person comes in and say, "I'm in pain." Are you really in pain, or do you just want drugs?
And you know what, Lisa? I'm gonna say it like this too. And I know it's probably a little bit off subject, and this is probably gonna be another video for you to do. But some of that stuff, black people got to take responsibility for. And the
Yes,
reason I'm gonna say that is because because now they got that thing where certain people are red flagged because they abuse drugs or whatever. So when they come into the hospital, we can't give them certain things unless certain things is going on with them and stuff like that. But you get so many people that will try to take you to the side and be like, "Come on, girl," because they see I'm black and they black, "Girl, you can't hook me up because I just and they not gonna give me nothing because I was here and that's why." And I'm looking at them like, you actually came in here talking about, let's just say your tooth is getting ready to, and everybody know how a toothache feel, or your foot is just this much in pain, and you really just sitting up here trying to overdo this because you trying to get you a couple of 5 pills from the pharmacist because that's all we're gonna be allowed to give you until you go see your doctor. You know, and it's just it be so much of that. And I'm not saying that there ain't white ones that come in here and do it either, because there is. You
the
know.
reality is this is the hookup culture, and that's the culture that we in, and it is everybody.
Hmm.
Black people are going to come to you. You're not going to experience a white person pulling you to the side.
Oh, they do too.
It's gonna, well, you know what I'm saying. It's an
Hmm.
anomaly, but it's gonna be. Oh, I see a black nurse. Let me holler at her because
Hmm.
here's what we're thinking. In the real, in the, I don't want you to hook me up, but I want you to listen to me world. I will go to the black nurse
Okay.
because they will
Hmm.
understand what I'm saying.
Hmm.
But I'm not going in there to try to get pills.
Right. Hmm.
I know
You
that
know.
you're going to listen to me
Yeah.
because you know what I'm going through.
Yeah. You know the ones. Yeah.
Right. Whereas a white nurse may not.
Hmm.
Because okay, let me start with, okay. The biggest lie told in race relations is I don't see color.
Hmm.
The biggest lie told is I don't see color.
Hmm.
They bastardized Martin Luther King's speech, talking about the content of character and stuff like that, not realizing that you're not saying that entire sentence. You're just picking out pieces that sound good.
Hmm. Yeah. Because if they
The
ever
biggest
listen to that whole speech,
It
yeah.
had nothing to do with white people. It had absolutely nothing to do with the
Mm.
content of white characters.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
But I digress, and that's something else. The biggest lie is I don't see color. You see it where you see it in with biracial um, families. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But not in all biracial families. A lot of times when it's the white mom and the black daddy, I don't see color.
Mhm.
I raised my child not to see color. But guess what? You can raise your child not to see anything. But the
Mhm.
world sees a little black kid. They're not
Mhm.
going to see you, white mama.
Mhm.
They're going to see you, little black kid. And
Mhm.
they're going to ask you if you're the babysitter. So
Mhm.
you need to let your baby understand that when the big lie is, I don't see color, because you do. And you should,
Mhm.
because that changes the experience.
Mhm.
A white lady and black lady are not going to have, even in the exact same situation, they're not going to have the same experience, because the world is not going to treat them the same. It
Mhm.
should treat them the same,
Mhm.
but it's not. And that's what 45's presidency did for us. He made it abundantly clear to the entire world that
Mhm.
there is a difference in between black and white.
Mhm.
He made it abundantly clear that it's okay for you to be racist. It's okay for you
Cause he
to
really,
not
he,
like.
yeah, cause he sincerely felt like, and like a lot of white people do feel that way, that the white race is like disappearing. The real white race is disappearing because there's so much interracial and everything.
There
And
is
I
no white race. There's no white. There's no white race. There's no black race. Race,
right.
black and white is a construct that is specific to America. Because
Mhm.
if you go out of America,
Mhm.
you have black skinned Europeans.
Mhm.
You have white skinned Europeans.
Mhm.
You have black skin. You have darker skinned Australians, lighter skinned
Mhm.
Australians. If you go all over the world, you go to Europe, you have what we would call black Europeans and white Europeans, but they're
Mhm.
European.
Mhm.
Black and white is special to America because America is what it is, a melting pot.
Mhm.
Because it is a country of immigrants. Because the only indigenous people are relegated to reservations.
Mhm.
The only
I know I
indigenous
used
people
to.
on the Americas are in the United States.
Mhm. But I
That's
know
what I
I
do.
used to get a lot of feedback because in my old videos, my niece that I raised is mixed.
Uh-huh.
And I used to have black women coming at me saying, "Oh, you think your niece is better than," and I'm like, first of all, I don't even know y'all. And because at the time, that's the type of videos I did, I shared my family.
Uh-huh.
Um, I'm like, I'm just sharing no different than somebody else is sharing. But when I tell you, I used to get so much just, oh my God, the things that these women on YouTube used to say, it was horrible. And I'm like, really? And then, like, with my niece, she had some black friends, she had some white friends. And I would do videos with her black friends. Some of them, didn't, or their parents didn't approve of them being on, so I couldn't put them on. And but then a lot of the white ones, they would be in the videos because their parents approved. And at the time they were underage, so I couldn't go against that. You know what I mean? But and they would just say things and I was just like, I don't even know y'all women. I don't, you know, just like you're on here sharing, I don't have kids, but just like you guys are on here sharing your families and whatever, why does it have to be about race? And that's why I
Because
say
it
it's,
is. I mean, because it is, but we don't know how to talk about race. We
yeah,
don't know. We don't know how to have conversations about things that people consider controversial. You're
yeah,
around my age, so when I was raised, you didn't talk about religion or politics
right.
because
Mm-hmm.
those are very polarizing
Yeah,
subjects.
because I'm
But the
still old school
reality,
on that. I be,
but the reality is, we should have been talking about it because we
Mhm.
push it to the back. because we hide it or because we don't talk about it, it
Mhm.
becomes this taboo. You don't talk about race. You don't talk about black and white people in mixed company. You don't talk about it
Mhm.
because it has, but that's how the the powers that be, that's
Mhm.
how the behind the scenes get us to the area that we're at. That's how the Donald Trumps of the world,
Do you think it's a more of a mindset?
it is. That's how they get, and they'll tell you. But the reality is that the majority of people
Mhm.
are stupid. People as a whole, a group of people, you will be in a group of 100, and you will find yourself following the group and doing something you wouldn't do on your own. And it may
Mhm.
not be anything big, you know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about murdering somebody, but you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? You'll
Mhm.
find yourself moving to the beat of the group.
Mhm.
And the person that's not moving to the beat, y'all find odd, strange.
Mhm. Mhm.
That person
And
that's doing their own thing, you find
yeah.
odd and strange. And even if you want to be doing the thing that that person is doing,
Mhm.
because you're moving to the beat of the group,
Mhm.
you will find yourself being antagonistic, or I'm trying to think of the word I'm trying to use. You'll find yourself looking at that person like, what's wrong with them? Even though if you weren't with the group, you'd be doing your own thing too. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
As a group, we have been trained as a group
Mhm.
to look at white people a certain way. Black people have been trained as a group to look
I
at white people a certain
wasn't.
way.
And see, and
White
I
people
was.
as a group have been trained to look at black people a certain way. But the people that are training us are the people that need for us to look that way. Because if we're looking that way at each other, we're not looking at them.
Mhm. See, and I wasn't
When
brought up like that. And I guess that's my biggest thing. I've never experienced, I know racism exists, but I've never really experienced it. In the hospital I worked at for over 20 years, it was only like six of us black people that worked in that whole hospital. Six. It was six of us, and I was one of the six. And where I grew up, where I lived, where my niece, like recently, my niece visited Virginia, her and her boyfriend, they drove out there, and their family have a place where they sit on the beach where they go every year or whatever. And
uh-huh.
she said they had rode past this one house where they had, and she sent me the pictures. And like I said, she's mixed, but the guy she go with and stuff, they're white. And she said, Auntie, she said they had the things out in their yard that looks like the case. I don't know if you could say that on the
Which one?
YouTube.
Say what?
The case, the three Ks.
I think it's not a bad word. It is what it is.
Well, I don't know. I know they say they'll shut people's videos out if you say certain things and stuff, and I don't want y'all nothing to
I think
happen
it
to.
has to be. I think it has to be more derogatory.
Oh,
That's why
okay.
I try to keep the cussing and stuff down. But the KKK is, it is what it is. You can't.
Yes, she
That's the
sent me
name of
the.
the group.
Okay, she sent me the picture where they had like these steel little things as if it was out in their yard. It was like three or four of them. So she said she had made a joke to her boyfriend. Oh, I can't be around here. We got to hurry, like that. And she was like, and I told her, I said, baby, I said, let me tell you something. I said, I understand what you were saying. I said, but just like you don't feel that way at home, and you may be in the area where a lot of that stuff may exist, I said, don't go around carrying that when you go in and out of town and stuff. I'm not saying not be watchful. I'm not saying go up to those people's door and knock on their door and say, hey, can I come in and get a glass of lemonade? Nothing like that. I said, but don't go around carrying that because that's a weight that had nothing to do with you from
But it
years ago.
does. But it does. See, that's where we do a disservice to ourselves. is that we think that because the civil rights came along, that we think, well, let's go all the way back. We think because slavery ended and Jim Crow ended and civil rights came along, that that made it better for us. No, it didn't. It hid their hand.
Mm.
It hid their hand. You have to teach your children that yes, they're going to see. When you don't teach your children that they're going to see you, all of you, they're not going to ignore her black parents, your niece's black parents. They're not. I am biracial, and I was raised in a town of no white people inside the city. They were on in the county, but not in the city. I've never been confused for a white person. But my grandmother, who is, if I had to put you in the mind of who somebody looks like, she like Cicely Tyson. My grandmother has been mistaken for my nanny or for my babysitter.
Mm.
I watched my grandmother walk down the street and avert her eyes if a white person was coming in her way and move to the side on the sidewalk.
Mm.
I watched my grandmother shrink herself
Mm.
when we would go into malls and things. If white people were, we were in line at J.C. Penney, and
Mm.
these two white ladies just walked past us like we weren't standing there.
Mm.
And it was a long line. It's back to school shopping. And we'd been in that line for a while. And I was like, excuse me. I was
Mm.
11 or 12.
Mm.
And she was like, no, don't say anything. I said, why? I said, we've been standing in the line. They're not going to go in front of us. But I said to Howard, 12-year-old. I don't remember exact words, but I remember because she was like,
Mm.
no, don't say anything to them. See, I have experienced it. I have
Mm.
experienced walking with my friends and the white kids that live in the county, not in the city proper, screaming nigga as we walk by
Mm.
out they trucks. See, what we do is the lie that they tell us is don't see it, don't acknowledge it, but it doesn't
So do
go away if
we
we don't.
get better? Like my niece, when she was in school,
It's
she
better for her
experienced
to
the
know.
from
It's better
black
for her to
people,
know. Yes, black people don't do it too. I
but
don't.
we
It,
never really. So my thing is because we never experienced those things that you experience, and that's why I understand what you're saying. But it's hard for me to put something there that it's not our reality. You know
right.
what I
You can
mean?
only go on your experience. You
Right.
can't take my experience and apply it to you because you didn't see. I grew up that way. I grew
Yeah.
up in a small town in the Bible Belt. See, you grew up in an area where while racism may be prevalent, you grew up in New York, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Racism may be prevalent, but it wasn't prevalent. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Because we
It
grew
was
up in white
there.
neighborhoods. We were like the only
Right.
black in the neighborhood. We were always accepted. I never.
No, you weren't. No, you
Yeah.
weren't. They just didn't say anything to you. Let me, and I'm going to say this with my chest, and I'm going to say it with surety. You weren't accepted. We're not accepted now. We're not accepted now.
Why do you feel like we
You
weren't?
were tolerated. You were tolerated
I was
because they
top.
weren't going to sell their house. I'm not talking about your friends. I'm talking about your friends' parents.
Mm.
I'm talking about as a whole. You were tolerated. Do you understand that every time black people moved in the neighborhoods, white people slowly moved out? You were the black person then. Let one more come, five will move out that you didn't know about, that you weren't
Well,
friends with. Now, I'm not saying all white people because there's no such thing as all anybody.
yeah.
And while your neighborhood may have been a neighborhood that was like, shit, we all gonna get along. For every one neighborhood that was like that, there were 1,000 neighborhoods where as soon as a black family moved in, 10 white families moved out. The property, do you understand that just a black family moving into a neighborhood in the
Oh,
50s and the 60s dropped the property value?
oh, that happens now. Because even when I sold my home, when I was living in the area where I was, Now, my home was worth more than a lot of those people's homes out there, but because I was single and because I was black and a female, it made my property level go a little less than except for two of my neighbors. But I
That's
had
why
a basement, I had all of that. But because of those three things, I actually seen that happen, you know.
that's why I
So,
said
yeah.
y'all was tolerated.
Mhm.
Your family dropped the property value in y'all neighborhood. Your family dropped the
Mhm.
property value. It shouldn't
Mhm.
have because
Right.
you had the money to buy that house.
Mhm.
It shouldn't have. But the
Mhm.
only difference between you and the family next door was the color of your skin.
Mhm.
And while they may not have said anything to you, and they may not have even actively thought it,
Mhm.
your family dropped the property value in that neighborhood,
Mhm.
especially with black families moving into all white neighborhoods.
Mhm. Yeah,
It
cuz
would
and
have
that
been different had it been a mixed neighborhood or an
mm,
all black neighborhood. But black families moving into all white neighborhoods automatically drop the property value.
mhm. And
And then
see,
there
and I
was a point in time where they would tell you that. There was a point in time where they would
yeah.
knock on the door and ask you how you got this house.
Mhm.
How'd you get this house?
Mhm.
They didn't feel any they didn't you know how you see something and you want to say something, but your
Yeah.
decorum
You're
keeps
right.
you from going
Mhm.
up to somebody's face. They
Yeah.
didn't have they didn't
Right.
have that.
Mhm.
And the only difference is the color of your skin. That's why I said we gotta teach our babies, especially our babies that look like me,
Mhm.
that they see you.
Mhm.
They may not say they see you, but they see you. And and the sad part about it is this conversation is coming up because just open your Facebook,
Mhm.
scroll through your TikTok. There's not a day that goes by
Mhm.
that you don't see a stranger calling a black person out of their name because they black. Not because
Mhm.
they did anything to them,
Mhm.
because they walking into Walmart at the same time and they got close, or because the lady that accused the white lady that accused the little black boy of stealing her phone because he was in the lobby at the same time as she was.
Mhm.
The lady that accused the the other customer of stealing her phone because he was a black guy and she was a white lady.
But those were isolated
It can't be
incidents.
isolated because every day it happens. Isolated incidents mean we talk about this one and then 6 months later it happens or a year later it happens. We'll
Mhm.
scroll, pick up your hold on. That's why I'm using my iPad. Nobody use my phone because
Yeah,
I
it's
have
just I don't I think like cuz I'm one of those like energy type like people. And like when I feel like I trust I trust my feelings when it comes to energies. And like if I'm like in a room around people and I'm feeling like bad energy or I'm feeling anything, I won't I might not say anything, but it's like, okay, I know I planned on staying for 3 hours, but I'm gonna make my way up out of here in about a half an hour, because I'm not feeling. And I just think like if you allow certain things to attach itself to you, then it can become part of your reality. So my thing was always when I talk to my niece, don't let certain things attach itself to you because you don't want to go around, not go around with your eyes closed, but you don't want to go around carrying that. And then every person you look at that don't look like you, or you in a room with people that don't look like you or not the same skin color, that you somewhere thinking, yeah, this how they, and I just don't want her to feel that way because that's not true. Because
I don't
everybody,
want to feel that way, but I want her. What happens is the reason I say that. is because when you go out of your way to not feel that way,
Mhm.
sometimes you don't honor your inner alarm.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Because
I do.
you feel like your inner alarm is going off for the wrong reason. But oh,
Mhm.
I mean, you know what? I'm gonna make a conscious effort to not pay that any attention. But for us, I mean, I firmly believe had I been born 20 years earlier than I was, I would have been a Black Panther.
Mhm.
I firmly believe I would have been black leather wearing, fist pumping, uh, afro wearing, talking in the microphone because because I don't want to see. I don't want your niece to feel that. I don't want to have to give my sons the talk I have to give him. I don't want to have to explain why. I don't want to have to explain why that draw at in Montgomery was so important
Mhm.
because it shouldn't have to be. But that's not our reality. That's not what's going on.
Mhm.
That's not what's going on.
You don't feel like a lot of that is starting to change around?
No, it's
You
not
don't?
going to change because we're not because it's getting worse in places. We live in Virginia, right?
Mhm. And that's where they went. They went to Virginia.
And Virginia is the South. Don't let anybody fool you.
Yeah.
It's the
Yeah.
South. It is one of the first places where the slave trade, where the slaves came and where they were processed
Mhm.
out.
Yeah.
And it's still that way. You have to
Mhm.
understand, I was raised in Alabama. I'm from New York, but I was raised in Alabama. And there are towns in Alabama in 2023 that have never had a black resident.
Mm.
There are towns in Alabama, Florida, Georgia, Mississippi, and Louisiana that are sundown towns that are still do
Mhm.
not be in that town when the sun goes down. People don't understand what that means. It's not a
Mhm.
joke. It's don't be outside in that town. And in some cases, don't live in that town
Oh.
in 2023.
Mhm.
In 2023, we watch mass murderers, serial killers, rapists get walked in handcuffs into a police station.
Mhm.
And we turn around and see somebody who was 5 miles over the speed limit get shot in the chest. The only difference is the color of their skin.
Yeah.
I watched a man with a handgun and a sword running around a park
Mhm.
threatening children.
Mhm.
And the police would not even shoot him in the leg.
Oh.
While in turn, I watched a man who told the police officer, I have a gun, I have a permit, I am going to take my seatbelt off and give it to you and get shot and killed in his car.
Mm.
I watched a boy go into a church, kill 9 people, and get
Mhm.
taken to Burger King while I watched a man scream for his mother as he died on nationwide TV.
Mhm.
It is a reality.
Mhm.
And while those are the anomalies, I don't want to take a chance that I have not told my son enough
Mhm.
for him to come home tonight because he Nick works and he works close enough to walk. It's a 5 minute walk to his job.
Mhm.
We live in a predominantly white neighborhood.
Mhm.
I want to be able to told my son enough so he makes it home. Because
Yes.
what if tonight he fits the profile?
Mhm.
What if tonight he looks like the suspect?
Mhm.
If I haven't told my son how to handle that situation, and he
Mm.
handles it like a lot of them we see get mad and want to argue with the police,
Mhm.
and want to fuss at them because
Mhm.
we haven't told them, because we haven't given them that reality.
Mhm.
That's what I'm saying. When I'm telling you, when I say, when I'm very adamant about your niece, like what I'm saying, it's not
Mhm.
because it's not because I want her to feel some kind of way. It's
Right.
because I want her to make it home.
Yeah.
Because understand this, your niece and her boyfriend can be driving in a car together.
Mhm.
They'll pull that car over, and your baby will go to jail, and he'll go home.
Mhm.
That's just reality.
Mhm. And that's the other thing. See, she's not flippy, at the mouth. She's not, or short-tempered. You know what I mean? She's patient.
But when you get in
And
a situation, and
mhm.
no matter what, even if you're not a criminal, you
Mhm.
get stopped by the police and they're talking to you aggressively, you
Mhm.
feel some kind of way. You want to defend yourself. You
Mhm.
want to say that's not me.
Mhm.
You want to say I wasn't there. You want
Mhm.
to say I was here.
Mhm.
And if you even, and you don't even have to raise your voice,
Yeah.
but if you just listen to when you have these situations happen,
Right.
sir, that wasn't me. Are you talking back to me?
Mhm.
Sir, I wasn't there. I didn't ask you a question.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying? When you
Right.
get presented in a situation
Mhm.
and this person wants to escalate this situation,
Yeah.
because I firmly believe that in every situation where there has been a shooting, an assault, anything by a police officer on a civilian, it's
Mhm.
because the police officer wanted to escalate the situation.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to argue with the police.
No.
Will they argue with the police?
Some,
Yes. Some
some
people will
do.
stupidly argue.
Some do. Some do.
But
Yeah.
don't nobody want to argue with the police because at the end of the day, the police are always going to win.
Mhm.
It's like not wanting to argue with your mama
Mhm.
because at the end of the day, your mama always going to win.
Yeah.
The police are the same thing.
Mhm.
So in 100% of these situations, the police escalate the situation.
Mhm.
They become aggressive when it's not necessary. They become violent when it's not necessary. They take it to a level that sometimes you can't come back from.
Mhm.
Case in point, there was a uh, autistic young man, and a lot of times he was a large young man.
Mhm.
He was a big boy, but
Okay.
he looked to be about 18, 19. He has the mentality, however, of a 5-year old,
Yes.
and he had gotten um, excited or whatever. I forget the word, but I'm gonna use excited. And
Mhm.
the therapist and somebody called the police because all they saw was a big black man in the middle of the road acting aggressive,
Mhm.
not realizing it was a big 5-year old in the road acting confused.
Yeah. Mhm.
So the police came, escalated the situation. His therapist, I think it was either his therapist, I think it was a group home he had gotten away from somebody.
Okay.
So the person he gotten away from was like, he's this, he's screaming, he's this, he's this, he's this. I can calm him down. I can get him.
Mhm.
So he's sitting in the middle of the road. The therapist is sitting in the middle of the road. They're sitting on the ground.
Mhm.
They still shoot the therapist in the leg.
Mm.
These are the things, and nobody gets in trouble.
So the therapist
That's
was black?
yes,
Wow.
yes. That's why I don't understand how even white people can look and go, that's kind of messed up. But then you were talking about the comments, like your your when you had your niece in your videos and the things that people would say.
Yeah.
You read the comments. Why didn't he comply? Why couldn't he tell the police? Well,
Mhm.
maybe he moved a little too fast. He was sitting in the middle of the road. Nobody
Right.
had a weapon. No weapon was there.
Right.
The boy that got shot on his porch carrying a sandwich. No weapon. The boy that got shot in his grandmama's backyard, his cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
The man that got shot in the back 3 times because he didn't want to go to jail for child support. He wasn't going to jail for robbery or theft or rape or murder. He didn't want to go back to jail for his child support because he had no money to pay for it. He ran away from the cop. He was running. The cop shot him in the back 3 times. Now that cop went to jail
Mm-hmm.
because somebody recorded it.
Yeah.
But think about it. Think about how many body cam footage, how many
Mm-hmm.
people with their cell phone,
Mm-hmm.
how many times you have watched a cop shoot somebody that was unarmed? How
Mm-hmm.
many times you saw a cop escalate a situation that could have been a ticket or a warning or a discussion and it was an
Mm.
arrest?
But do
Think
you
about
think
how
that
many
that fall
times you have,
down? Do you
huh?
do you do you think that falls down into a category of just someone outside of the racism stuff? But do you think some of that falls down into a category of just someone being overzealous about their job? You know, just
I
like
could
me and you
see if it
work
was
our
just
job.
one. I could see if it was just one or two situations every
Hmm.
now and again. But it's
Okay.
every day, everywhere.
Hmm. Because you
It's
know what
not
I'm
just
thinking? Just like when you worked at your job at
Buffalo.
where you was the bar
Buffalo Wild.
the
Bartender.
uh,
Uh-huh.
yeah, Buffalo. Okay. Now there, you know how sometimes you can go in a place like that and you can sit down and you can get someone who's very patient with you, realizing like I'm a person, I don't eat out much at restaurants. So a lot of times when I do break down and go into a restaurant, sometimes the person is just looking at you as like, come on with your order, type like thing. And I have to literally tell them, can I take a moment to really read your menu? Because and some of them will be, oh, sure, very pleasant about, yeah, or they might even suggest a couple of things, or they may say, do a little small talk, like, well, what type of things do you like? Because I can suggest some things. And then you could get somebody else that'll be, oh,
You're
oh,
correct. You're correct. But
you
guess
know,
what? That's just your food.
hmm,
If you get a bad server or a bad bartender, you don't
right,
tip them, you don't go back. But you don't die.
right,
You don't go to jail.
right,
You don't get arrested. Let's not
right,
even go to the die part. Let's not even go there because for some reason
hmm,
people ignore that. They'll ignore that before they ignore getting arrested. So we're gonna
hmm,
just stop because you will have it will be you and your next door neighbor who's white, and y'all will see the exact same footage, and you'll go like, "Why did he shoot that man?" And then your
right,
neighbor will go, "Well, he should have just complied."
hmm,
You see what I'm saying? Y'all both looked at the same thing, but because your experience, because your lived black experience is different than their lived white experience,
hmm,
they're not going to see the tragedy in a young man dying because he went 5 miles over the speed limit or because
hmm,
he ran a stop sign.
yeah,
They're not going to see the tragedy in that. They're going to see, well, the cop was scared.
hmm,
He was just doing his job and it was an accident.
hmm,
So let's just leave that alone.
hmm,
Getting arrested because you're black is a
hmm,
thing.
hmm,
Getting arrested because you're white is not.
hmm,
Getting arrested because getting stopped because you're picking up trash in the quad that you live in at school, but you're a black kid is a
hmm,
reality. Getting the police called on you at Starbucks because you're sitting there talking for too long is a reality.
hmm,
Getting the police called on you because you dozed off at school in the common area, but you're black is a reality. That's not an anomaly. That's an everyday occurrence.
Mm-hmm.
That's stopping. I watched a police officer harass a little boy who was throwing the trash out. You saw him. It was. You saw the video because it was the camera was pointed. You know how the camera points at the trash
Hmm. Yeah.
and parking area in an apartment complex.
Yeah.
You saw
Mm-hmm.
the little boy walk out of his house with the trash bag in his hand, put the trash in the trash can. On the way back to his house, he was handcuffed by the cops because he fits the description. That's a reality.
Mm-hmm.
That happens right now, right now. Some black men, because it's mostly men, but women too, but it's mostly men. Some black man is being stopped by the cops, walking on the side of the road, standing in front of a store, sitting on a bench, riding his bike,
And you
talking
don't
to his
think
friends.
it's some of them that's just overzealous about doing their
So
job too?
you are a nice person. I can hear it in your voice.
Mm-hmm.
You want to give people the benefit of the doubt. You want to see the good in everybody. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not. I'm not. You can't, and there has to be a you because there's a me. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
you
if
remind me
I say,
of my other niece. She's a Pisces, and she be like, Auntie,
what you see what I'm saying? There has
Yeah.
to be a you and a me because
Okay.
there's a meaning in the middle.
Okay.
DC said that's her. Um, you look at, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. You had a long day, you were arguing with your wife, da 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 da, whoop you whoop. I'm going
Mm-hmm.
to look at it like this. That's your job.
Mm-hmm.
I am mean to tell. I am. I'm a Pisces. For some reason, people say that's what it is. I am. I'm mean to tell. I know I'm mean. I know that I know I can't fix my face. I know I will say some shit out of my mouth. I know I
Yeah.
will ask you, who the fuck are you talking to?
Yes.
And I will do that to anybody.
See, I gotta get mad. And once I get mad, ain't no calming me down. I have to get
I am.
totally.
I
Oh,
am. I am. Don't do it. It ain't the
yeah.
day. You can get it all
Yep.
day. I
Yep.
can't help it. I'm sorry. I don't know where it came from. I've changed because I used to want to fight motherfuckers. I used to want to fight people.
Yeah. Yep. My niece. Oh, my other
I used
niece.
to
Not the
want to
one
fight
I was
people.
telling you about, but the other one that's a Pisces. She's that way. She's like quick
I
with
did. I had opportunity. What you said? You said what? What you said?
it.
When I was young, I was. I have learned that, and I was angry for some reason. I don't know why I was mad. I'm sure it was a
Mhm.
compilation of things. I was angry for some reason when I was growing up. And I
Okay.
realized at some point that the anger had to go away because it didn't serve me. As you get
Yeah.
older and you realize there are things that don't serve you, then you
Yeah.
change. However, I am me. I am what I am.
Okay.
Now I can tamp it down. I
Yeah.
cannot display it. But don't do it. It don't take nothing. I don't need a reason. My bad, y'all. I can walk in your house and not speak to you and not
Oh,
feel anything.
see,
If
I
I
can't
don't
do
like you,
that.
ask my wife. If I don't like, see, being on YouTube, having a YouTube platform and having to deal with so many different people, everybody ain't gonna like everybody.
Right.
But I can't be fake.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm.
I can't do it. I can't just
Hmm.
because, and I'm not going to stop my wife from liking somebody.
Right.
Because I don't. I can't give you the irrational reasons with the dumb shit I do. I can't do that. But I can't put that off on nobody. So I'm not gonna tell my wife if they ain't did nothing to her, or if
Right.
they haven't made her get to that point. Don't get to
Yes.
that point for me because I'm cool being at that point by myself. See, I'm cool with the by myself thing. I don't need cheerleaders. I don't need a team. I am cool. As my mama used to tell me, she had a saying, I cover the ground I walk on.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I don't need nobody to throw no cape on my shoulder. I can cover the ground I walk on. I can cover where I stand.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't make her not do nothing. However, I
Mhm.
also can't be fake. So I have come to the point where I just shut the hell up. I have come
Yeah.
to a don't say nothing. If I don't like you,
Mhm.
I don't write. I don't go on. If I don't like a content creator, I don't go on their videos and write nasty shit. I wouldn't go.
Right.
If I didn't like something about what you said on your video or
Mm.
commented something about you, I wouldn't comment about your niece. If I
Mhm.
didn't like you, I wouldn't comment about. If I don't like you, you don't exist.
Mhm.
So if I didn't like your content, I wouldn't even look at your video. What I'm gonna look?
Right.
What do I look like looking at your video and then get mad and up type of shit? That's stupid. That's stupid. I don't and this, huh? People do it all the time. I don't understand it. I'm not going. I'm not. I don't care enough. If I don't
Mhm.
like you, I don't like you. Cool.
Right.
I don't
Mm.
like your stuff. I don't heart your stuff. I don't look at your stuff. Baby will
Right.
show me your stuff. She'll tell me, look at this. I'm like, I'm not gonna look at it, so I don't know why you keep showing it to me. And I no, but that shit go. No, I want you to look at something in there. I don't want you to. I'm like, all right. If I see them too long, I'm gonna turn it off. I hear their voice too long, turn it off.
Right. Mhm.
That's just me. But there
Right.
needs to be, but that's me. And there needs
Mm.
to be a you. I'm not gonna give you the benefit of doubt. Let me tell you why. I'm gonna
Okay.
use your analogy as far as a waitress. I am
Okay.
a bitch. Understand that. When I started waiting tables in 1989, my sister told me I was gonna last for 2 weeks because of my attitude problem in my mouth.
Really?
Yes.
You
Like I
was that
said,
way? So you didn't appear to be that way when you
like
was
I
working?
because I like money and I'm very good and I'm very good. And I didn't know I was competitive. Let's say that. I didn't know growing up. Here,
Mhm.
okay. Here's where some of the stupid comes in. Growing up, to me, competitive meant sports.
Mhm.
You know, when people say I'm competitive, I'm very competitive. I didn't feel
Mhm.
myself as competitive because I'm not running nowhere. I'm not playing no sport. I'm not winning no race. So I'm not
Okay.
competitive.
Okay.
I didn't realize until YouTube that competitive meant wanting to always win.
Mm.
I didn't realize that. And then I realized just how competitive I was because my sister said that I was gonna get fired. I wanted to do the exact opposite. Tell me something. Ask my wife right now. I am 56 years old and I promise you I was like a 5 year old. Tell me not to do something and that is the only thing in the whole wide world that I want to do. Tell me not to do it and I swear it's like an itch. That's the only thing I want to do. Tell me not to look at it. Tell me not to look at it, and I swear I'm gonna look it up. I don't know why. Anyway,
Oh,
I digress. My bad, y'all. But my sister said I was not going to last because I had an attitude problem and a smart ass mouth.
okay.
And in customer service, you have to deal with in direct customer service because that's what a server is. That's what a bartender is. Cashier is.
Mhm.
Somebody who directly deals with somebody on a face-to-face basis. Direct customer service. You have to
Right.
deal with millions of different attitudes on a daily basis, every
Right.
minute of every day that you are at work.
Right.
And
Mhm.
she did not believe I could adjust my attitude, and I didn't really believe it either until I started doing it and realized I am very good
Mhm.
at doing a job. Whatever job you give me, it is
Yeah.
my desire. I have to win. Tell me I
Mhm.
can't do it, and tomorrow I'm gonna show you how to do it.
Right. Okay.
And I well,
Mhm.
because here's why. I don't want nobody to say nothing to me. Because
Okay.
if somebody says something to me and I don't like their tone,
Mm.
immediately I'm about to say something smart out of my mouth.
Okay.
So I have learned that on a job, if I don't want somebody to say something to me, I have to
Mm.
learn how to do every aspect of that job so that I don't have to ask no questions. So that somebody having a bad day at their house, a manager, because normally we managers set me off, not customers.
Okay.
Customers set me off. I would go in the back, scream in the. I would go in the cooler, scream, cut their ass out for a second, and come back out to the table. Managers have Managers, however, got it where they got it. If manager says something off the wall to me, you're gonna get it where you live at. Don't do it because I'm gonna get you
Okay.
back. So I came to realize that to keep him from speaking to me, I had to know how to do it. So my first job as a server, I started out as a server. I was there for 3 months and I was a trainer. I was there for 6 months, and I was a trainer in the opener. By a year, I was the first black female manager the store had ever had
Mhm.
because I don't want nobody to say nothing.
Mhm.
And that's each and every job that I've had since then.
Mhm.
Waiting tables, and let me tell you why I know cops don't have to do what they do.
Okay.
Cops are direct customer service representatives, for lack of a
Mhm.
better term. Let's break it down to what they actually are. Their job is to protect and serve. The police, the beat cops, they come after a crime is committed.
Right. Mhm.
They're not detectives. They're not psychics. They come
Yep.
after a crime is committed or during or while the crime is being committed.
Yep. Mhm.
So that's direct customer service. You got to deal with the civilians that have nothing to do with the crime, the
Mhm.
criminals, and your coworkers.
Mhm.
If I, if I, just a regular server, regular Douglas server, can deal with
Mhm.
you talking any kind of way to me,
Mhm.
because I walked up the tables, hey, how y'all doing? What can I get y'all today? Uh,
Mhm.
I've been ignored. I've had people scream at me. I've had
Oh.
people cuss. I've had girls get mad because because their date commented on my eyes, or because
Mm.
I was or got mad because I was nice to them. I had
Mm.
a lady. It was a biracial couple. It was white lady, black daddy, biracial son. I remember it
Mhm.
because it blew me because I just didn't understand what she was mad about.
Mhm.
She had an attitude the entire time. It was a Friday night,
Mhm.
and on my night, I had regulars, people that came in all the time, waited for me, and I waited on them.
Mhm.
We were completely full. The restaurant was full. I had put in everybody's orders, and I was talking to my regular table that was behind them.
Mhm.
So I'm just talking to my table, waiting for my food to get ready. You ain't waiting because it was the Applebee's, and it was a smaller restaurant, and you could hear, Lisa, come
Mm.
get your food. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Where my tables were, I was right by the kitchen. So I was like, I was waiting for my food to get ready and doing my thing and doing, talking to the
Mhm.
table that I wait on every Friday.
Right. Mhm.
So, it was backed up. It was late. Food was taking a minute.
Mhm.
And they were sitting there talking, and all of a sudden she was talking loud enough for me to hear. Well, if she wasn't talking to the table, we'd already have our food. I said, well, ma'am, I don't cook.
Mhm.
I told my table, I said, excuse me, hold on a second. They started laughing.
Mhm.
My regulars started laughing because they see me. They
Mhm.
know me.
Right. Mhm.
So they were like, oh shit. You know how somebody know you like this.
Mhm.
I said, ma'am, I don't cook. I said, I'm talking to my regular table. I said, but you know what? I said, you're right. You're right. And I went back, their food wasn't ready. So eventually everybody's food came out. Now
Mhm.
understand, when I do my thing, I am
Mhm.
especially when I was younger and I was moving, when I
Mhm.
do my thing, I do my thing.
Right.
If you
Mhm.
were a customer, if you were my customer, if I was waiting on you
Mhm.
and you had everything you needed and anything, straws, napkins, extra sauce,
Mhm.
whatever. I made sure your food was right. If it wasn't right, I took it back. I made
Mhm.
sure, your experience was experiencing.
Right. I can pick that
Every,
up from.
every
Right.
time you dropped the napkin, I took it off the table. Every time you emptied a plate, I moved the plate. Every time you got a new glass, I took the old glass.
Mm.
You would look like you just got there and you getting ready to go home because there wouldn't be none on the table but the glasses from your drink.
Mhm.
I said that to say this.
Mhm.
Every time I went to that table, I made sure her husband and her son had something to drink. I made sure her husband and her son plates were empty. I made sure her husband and her son's side was clean. However, this bitch was
She-
sucking on ice juice. Her plate was still there. Everything was still there. Her husband and her son were laughing because I heard her husband tell her you shouldn't have said nothing to Her son was laughing. I'm
That's
assuming because
all
she
right.
does that on a regular basis.
Oh.
I'm
Mhm.
assuming because she used to do that on a regular basis. Now this was 20. Shit, what the hell it is? I don't know what year it is. It was like 20. I know it's about 20. Shit, it might be 30 years ago. Goddamn remote. Anyway, I know that if I cannot cuss out every table I go to,
Right.
I know that if I can do that, and
Mhm.
I'm just a server, you are a police officer.
Right.
That's why I don't give them an inch. I don't give them a centimeter. You're a
Right.
cop.
Understand. Right.
You're a
Mhm.
cop. You have somebody's life in your hands. If
Mhm.
you come and sit at my table, the most I got in your hands is your food.
Mhm.
This cop has your life
Excuse me.
in his hands. You can't give
Mhm.
them a centimeter because if you do, somebody dies.
Right.
If you do, somebody's arrested. If you do, somebody, if you do, an 8-year-old girl who was sleeping on the couch gets shot in the head and dies.
Mhm.
If you do, a 68-year-old grandma gets put in handcuffs.
Mhm.
If you do, a 70-year-old grandma dies because they raided the wrong house.
Right. Mhm.
If you do, a woman gets out of the shower and is body cam naked because they raided the wrong house.
Mhm.
If you do, you get shot in your sleep
Mhm.
because they raided the wrong house.
Mhm.
That is what the 45, and he did a lot of shit because we got all off the road. He did a lot of shit.
But
He,
I learned something from you though too, and I
he's
appreciate.
the reason. Oh, you're welcome. He's the reason that the pandemic could take hold in America.
Mhm.
America, think about it.
Mhm.
There have been pandemics all over the world in our recent history to
Mhm.
where we were old enough to remember. Ebola, the avian flu,
Yeah.
all over the world there have been pandemics, except in the
Mhm.
one place it should have been. In the one place where everybody comes and goes on a regular basis. America. And you know why? Because the presidents had medical, I forget what it's called, but there's a thing to where every country,
Mhm.
America had a doctor set up so that you couldn't bring your Ebola, avian flu having ass to America. As soon as soon as something broke out, America was like, nope, 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 nope.
Mhm.
Nobody could come. If you were having the avian flu in America, that means if you were in Japan and it was a pandemic in Japan, you can't come to America, player.
Yeah.
It was understood. The World
Mhm.
Health Organization. It came off of that.
Right.
America had doctors, nurses, and scientists in every country, making sure that if something popped off, it
Mhm.
didn't pop off in America. That was their job. No sooner than Trump became the president, he had an executive order. He dissolved that.
Yeah. Mhm.
Not 3 months. What was it? 3 or 4 months after the dissolving, we had a pandemic.
Mhm. Yeah, he did go in and do too much. Mhm.
He took away. We have had in America. I want to say the last time I looked at the stats, it was 465 mass shootings
Mhm.
to where people have died. 465. I don't even know what day it is, but I know it is not 465 days of this year, which means
Mhm.
there has been more than one shooting a day. And
Yeah.
that a mass shooting is, I think it's more than three because it's classification. Somebody getting shot at the block party is not a mass shooting. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, it's when
So
two or three
I
die.
think it's three. I think it's got to be at least three or more people are shot or killed.
Yeah, something like
That is
that. Yeah.
considered a mass shooting.
At the hand of one
At the
gunman.
hand
Or
of one person, right?
Right.
He
Mhm.
changed. Obama signed into law that if you had a mental, that your mental stability had to be taken into consideration for you to own a gun.
Mhm.
If you had certain mental, certain, I forget how it's worded, but anyway,
Mhm.
lack of better term, you couldn't be crazy and own a gun.
Mhm.
You couldn't be, no. No sooner than he got in there, he changed that too.
Mhm.
So that anybody could just walk in and get a gun. There have been, it has boggled my mind at the things that we've seen happen.
Mhm.
We know why they happen, but we
Mhm.
still make excuses. We listen to we we don't want they don't want drag queens reading bedtime stories to kids at the library,
Oh.
but you don't question this grown man who always has 12 and 13-year-old girls in his office. See what I'm
You
trying to
know,
say?
you know what, Lisa? And please answer this one for, and this might bring up a whole nother video too for you to do. How about back in the day, young girls could marry and start families at 14, 15 and stuff. And anything after 18, they was considered an old maid and stuff. Okay. And these were families they started with grown men.
Right.
But now it's called they're called pedophiles if they're in a relationship at 13 and 14. And not that I mean at
Because they
14 and
were
15.
dead. Because they were dead. But okay.
Yeah. I mean, not that, and to anybody who's listening, not that I condone 14 and 15-year-olds going out here starting families with grown men, but I always like, I enjoy hearing other people's opinion about that subject.
because
Like,
because um girls, women have always been property.
mm,
They've always belonged to their father. They've always belonged to the family.
mhm,
They were used, I'm sorry, they were used as currency. I
mhm,
need this, our family doesn't have enough land anymore. So what we're gonna do is I have this 12-year old, I have this 10-year old, I have this 8-year old, and there's this 30-year-old man, and he like they've always been pedophiles. They've
mhm.
always been child molesters.
Yeah.
But they've always looked at women and little girls as property.
Mhm,
I'm sorry. They've always been disgusting. They've always married their little girl off to this old ass man. The
mhm,
color purple wasn't an anomaly, it was the norm.
mhm, mhm,
The reason that he kept the pretty one, quote unquote, and gave the ugly one away is because he kept the pretty one for himself.
mhm,
It has always been that way. But
mhm,
because until recent history, women didn't have rights to do anything about it.
mhm,
People think that because white men got rights, white women got rights, they didn't.
mhm,
It wasn't until the 20s that white women could vote.
mhm,
It wasn't until the 60s that black women could.
mhm,
It wasn't until recent history that women could actually own anything without a man. Do you know
mhm,
that you couldn't own property, a house, a car? You couldn't own anything without
mhm,
a man.
mhm,
My grandmother used my grandfather. My father was dead for 20, 30 years.
mhm,
No, yeah, yeah, because I was a bad, yeah. She was still going by his name when she was talking would be Mrs. So and so,
mhm,
not by her name, but by his name.
mhm,
His name was on her credit card. Her credit
mhm,
card said Mrs. So and so, so and so.
mhm,
That's how she would answer the phone.
mhm,
Women were not seen as people.
Mhm.
Even now, even now. And that's how they taught, and that's how they taught girls and women growing up, calling a little girl fast.
Mhm.
She not fast. Why? And that's what pisses me off.
Mhm.
Again, it ain't got nothing to do with Trump, but okay. Why are you calling this little 10, 11-year old child fast and not
Mhm.
checking this 25-year-old man looking at her?
Right. Right. Mhm.
Why do we check the children
Mhm.
and not the adults?
Mhm.
Why do we sit up here and tell, I'm not going to tell my daughter to go put on her clothes in her house to somebody who don't live in her house? If you
Mhm.
got somebody in your house and your baby can't wear her shorts, that's the wrong person to have in your house. And I don't care who it is, daddy, brother, cousin, uncle, granddaddy, because we've
Miss,
been
but
taught
you
that
mean
way.
to tell me it's you would feel it would be okay for your daughter to
It's
walk
her
around?
house. It's her house. If okay, let's flip it. Is it okay for your son, if you had a son,
I wouldn't even want my son to do it.
I think walk around his boxes all the time, and that's my son in his boxes.
Mhm.
His friends would come in
Boxer.
here and they walk around in their boxes. I say boxes because that's the drawers he wears. If he wears tidy whities, just because
Right.
drawers are a bathing suit.
Mhm.
The same shorts that she wears in her house. You gonna tell her she can't wear it on the beach?
No, but I'm just saying,
Listen
what
to what you
about
just
like
said. You said no. If she can wear it on the beach in public in front of strangers, why can't she walk around her house in it? Because there shouldn't be nobody in her house looking at her in any kind of way.
right, 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 right.
I ain't looking at the camera because I feel like I'm on a podcast for whatever reason, and that's why I'm looking all around. Cause she like look at the camera. I ain't looked at the camera yet. I forget that I'm on camera sometimes. But think about what you just said
Mhm.
because that's how you were taught.
Yeah.
I had to unlearn things. I was taught that.
Mhm.
I had to unlearn things because
Yeah, cuz
I wasn't trained.
I see a whole lot of stuff now that I just be like, "Ooh, my mother
But
wouldn't have
that,
never."
but that don't be your mama was right.
But it taught me to be a lady about things.
That's what is a lady?
A lady don't go
What
around
they taught your mama. They taught your mama that she couldn't do this, this, and this. And that a woman who did this, this, and this was a loose woman, was a bad woman, was a this woman, was a that woman. But did that make her a different woman than your mama?
but you'll never see that.
Listen
How
to
do you
what you just said. Listen to what I just said. And think about what I just said. Your mama was taught to close her legs and wear
Yeah.
her dress below her knees and wear a slip. Listen to my mama to get dressed, to go to the grocery store. My mother would put on a slip,
Yeah.
a girdle, underwear,
Yeah.
stockings
Yeah.
to go to the grocery store.
Yeah.
She wouldn't pull on her pants and her t-shirt and her shoes and be comfortable
Right.
because society told her to be a lady.
Yeah.
This is how you have to do. You have to cover all the way up to the neck. You have to cover all the way down to the ankles. No man can see you. Don't be loud. Don't say that. Don't laugh out loud.
Mm.
Don't show emotion.
Mm.
Smile when they talk to you. Smile. Women should smile, even if they're not happy.
Mm.
I want you to look back and for real, hey y'all, they love it. I want you to look back
Hey
and
everybody.
I want you to think not think about when it was going on, but how you are now and how it is now. How many grandmamas and mamas were really happy in the marriages they were in?
Yeah,
How many of
now I
your
know.
grandmamas? How many of your grandmamas do you think your grandmama may have loved your granddad? But for everyone I see love, I heard somebody mama. This ain't something I thought about. This ain't something I saw on TV. My
Yeah.
roommate's my roommate's mama said
Mm.
that if her mama had taught her how to take care of herself, she would have left his ass. The only
Mm,
reason she stayed, the only reason she went with him is so she could get out of her mama house.
mm-hmm,
And then she stayed there through the abuse, through the babies, through the women,
mm.
because he was the one that had the money, because he was the one that bought the house. Because
Yeah, see,
he
my
didn't
mother was
allow
never
somebody to
about
buy
that
the house.
life. Hmm.
Her mother was taught she had to be a certain way to be seen as a lady.
Well, she didn't believe in that part though. And that's
But what
why I
I'm
think,
saying, but what I'm saying, even if she didn't believe in it, she was still taught that.
yeah, well, no, because my grandmother was different. She was single. My
No,
grandmother
I'm
and my
not talking
mother.
about being with somebody. No, no, no. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking
Mm,
about to be a lady, to be seen as a lady. You have to a
yeah,
lady, not a woman,
but
a lady.
Lisa, you see these young girls going around here naked, just flip their legs all
And I ain't
open,
about
and
to lie to you, and I'm not about to lie to you because I feel like it will be a lie. If it
right,
had have been, if I had have been, if fashion and how people are now had have been back when I was that age, my
yeah.
titties would have been out too. My titties and ass would have been out too. I ain't
But
gonna
I'm
lie.
talking
I
about
would have
in
been
front
naked. I would have
of
been naked.
company.
In front of company, listen to me. If there's someone in my house
Yeah,
that I don't trust around my daughter,
right,
they don't come in my house.
right,
I don't give
right.
a shit who it is. And if my baby can't put her sleep pajamas on in front of Rufus, Rufus ain't never coming to my house no more.
Not Rufus.
I was raised in the South. I just said Rufus because I can know like. Yeah, I was raised in the South where it was 100 degrees, where it was 100 degrees in the wintertime. We
Right.
didn't have any damn clothes on. What the
Hmm.
hell? My grandmama had one house fan. I mean, one big air conditioner. We didn't have central heat there. She had one
Okay.
big air conditioner for the whole house and
Okay.
fans. What my fat ass looked like going on, put a bunch of clothes on, 'cause somebody come in the house. My grandma
Please.
didn't have nobody in the house, but
Oh, oh.
she didn't have no men around me. Period. After my father died, there were no
Hmm.
men around me anyway.
Yeah.
But that being said, I was raised in a time where it was 80 degrees in December.
Right. Okay.
So I look like walking around my house with some blue jeans and a long sleeve t-shirt because some man gonna be in my house. Why is a man who is looking at a child in the house with the child?
Hmm.
It is not on the children to be policed. It is on the adults. It is not on the children. If I'm not going to have somebody in my house that
Hmm.
I don't trust around my child,
Yeah.
and I'm not going to put my baby in no long john
Hmm.
and no robe wrapped from neck to ankle because I don't want somebody to see my baby because he might think about her in that way. Why
Hmm.
are you thinking about an 8-year old like you think about a 28-year old?
Right.
Why are you looking at a child
Hmm.
and seeing a sexual object?
Right.
Why do we bring sexuality into things that have nothing to do with sexuality?
Okay.
An 8-year old is not a sexual being. I wish they would stop thinking. She's not trying to be sexy.
Hmm.
My grandbaby love to be naked. She is an infant. She don't know nothing about nothing.
Hmm.
But let her little pants thing come off her legs.
Hmm.
Them little legs run to be naked.
Hmm.
She don't know anything about sexuality or anything like that.
Right. Hmm.
All she knows is I like being naked. So I'm gonna be naked. You know why? Because I'm around people that I can be naked with.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
have, you should never have anybody, male or female, in your house that you don't trust around your kids. If you have children, especially children who cannot vocalize what's
Mm.
going on,
Yeah.
that person should never be in your house. You should never date a man or woman that you don't trust around your kids.
Hmm. Like
I'm not
me.
going to police my baby. I'm not
Yeah.
going to police my baby because I got a nasty bastard coming in my house.
Yeah.
because we are trained to ignore that person. How many times have you heard somebody talk about uncle this or uncle that? Don't be around the kids. Don't leave your kids in front of so and so.
Mhm.
Instead of saying, why the hell is so and so here?
Mhm.
We say don't leave the kids around.
Yeah.
See, we normalize, we punish the babies. We
Mhm.
punish the children. We tell them what they're doing right and wrong, and we ignore the adults who know what they're doing right and wrong.
Mhm.
That's why I don't give cops or anybody like that an inch, because it is your job to
Mhm.
know what's right and wrong. You
Mhm.
know that you shouldn't pull your gun out. You
Mhm.
know you aren't scared. You
Mhm.
know you shouldn't be mad at this man because you had a bad day at home,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
because you are allowed to do so.
Mhm.
Because politicians are allowed to politics. Because cops are allowed to cop. Because
Mhm.
doctors are allowed to ignore what their patients are telling them, or nurses are allowed to talk to their patients the way they do, because you don't like the fact that you
Mhm.
don't, because you see the difference in color, and I trust me,
Right.
they see the difference in color. They
Mhm.
see that your niece could be as light, your niece could be lighter than me, but trust me, they're going to see the kink in her hair. They're going
Mhm.
to ask her, what are you mixed with? They may
Mhm.
not ask her like that, but they're going to say something about her being exotic.
Mhm.
They're going to say something about another biracial person so that she'll say something,
Mhm.
because that's what they've been taught to do. They're going
Right.
to see her.
Mhm.
That's why I say she should see them too.
Mhm.
And sometimes it's hard, but you got to carry that burden, because it's not a
Mhm.
burden, it's life. If you
Mhm.
know they're going to see you, be you. If your baby ain't me, then don't be me. But make sure that when they are them, she's okay.
Right. Mhm.
That's what I said. That's what I was saying that about. That's what I was trying to get to
That's
where
what
I
I
could
picked up from
articulate.
you. That, and that's why I
That's
said
what I was
thank
trying
you.
to articulate. What I was trying to
Mhm.
say. It's
I
not
picked
about
that
her
up from
carrying a
you.
burden. It's
Right.
about when they see her,
Yeah.
make sure she's okay with it.
You're right.
Because if not, they'll be able to hurt her.
Yeah. That's why I said thank
Not
you.
physically. Not
Mhm.
physical. When I say most of the most 90% of stuff I'm talking about is not physical. But people
Mhm.
don't realize what the mental does. People
Mhm.
don't realize what that does.
Mhm.
Because she'll be comfortable. Your especially in children, because Nick is raised in a predominantly white area with a lot of, most of his friends are not black,
Right. Mhm. Yeah.
and I haven't taught him. I taught him to see, but I taught him to be seen, so that when they say something,
Mhm.
he can do what he needs to do.
Right.
Because
Mhm.
every time somebody say nigga, it's not about wanting to fight.
Right.
It's about letting them know that don't say it again.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna argue with you right now, but I ain't gonna be too many more of you niggas. And you
Right.
ain't gotta
Mhm.
articulate that, because a lot of stuff you can say without words, because of how
Yes.
you carry yourself, because of how you hold yourself.
Yeah.
And a lot of times when we teach our children that there is no color, that there is no difference, then
Mhm.
we do them a disservice, because
Mhm.
they don't see that, because they see the color, they see the
Mhm.
difference. And what's going to happen is they're not going to overtly say anything, but they will microaggression you to death.
Mhm.
They will see your, they will, she will go to the pool and they'll see her hair curl up and they'll want to touch your hair without asking.
Mhm.
Or they'll say, you really do get a pretty suntan.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm. Mhm.
And kids, but because you make her confident and understand that, yeah, I hear what you're saying, but I'm cool with me.
Mhm.
Because let me tell you something.
Mhm.
They can be raised in a black neighborhood. They can
Mhm.
have a black stepdaddy. But trust me when I tell you,
Mhm.
when it comes down to whether or not you're gonna get in the line for the black folks or the line for the white folks, they're gonna get in
Mhm.
that white folks line every time
Mhm.
because we are treated differently.
Mhm.
We're treated differently. We
Mhm.
had to fight to come to the front door of a restaurant. They didn't.
Mhm.
We had to fight to go to school in our neighborhood. They didn't. We had to fight
Mhm.
to use a drinking fountain. They
Mhm.
didn't. You see what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right. Mhm.
Things that we had to fight for that our that we
See,
had to fight for
and that's what I was teaching her
was
different,
given to
that
them.
our ancestors fought. You personally didn't. So don't
But
carry that.
but she
But
does still have to fight for her way in this world because
right.
our ancestors fought for so much, but we're still fighting every day. She's a
Mhm.
young lady. She gets
Yeah.
pregnant. She's
Mhm.
going to have to see the difference between how they treat her and the lady in the bed next to her. And
Mhm.
she's going to have to be able to stand up to that.
Mhm.
It's not about a burden she carries. It's about being strong enough to carry it
Mhm.
and it not weighing you down.
Being prepared to defend herself is what I get.
Right. Right.
And that's why I said you
It's
really
about
helped that.
it's
Mhm.
about being a duck.
Mhm.
And this is about to sound stupid. It's about being able to withstand the rain and it just
Mhm.
roll off your back. It's not
Yeah.
about not getting wet. It's
Mhm.
about not getting weighed down by the water.
Mhm.
The things that we had, the things that my grandmother had to fight for, the things that my mother had to endure. My mother was
Mhm.
put out of the Marines because my father was white and it was still illegal.
Mhm.
They hadn't quite passed that loving law yet.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? But not him.
Right. Mhm.
He wasn't put out of the Air Force.
Mhm.
The things that they had to fight for, the things that we are still fighting for, because these
Right.
kids are still fighting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Black Lives Matter is now. Black
Right.
Lives Matter is not the 60s. It is now.
Mhm. Right.
It is
Mhm.
it is a young man rotting in the streets
Mhm.
because a cop was scared of him walking
Mhm.
20 feet away from his car.
Mhm.
Michael Brown, it started with him.
Right.
He laid in the street rotting.
Mhm.
His family watching that on the news. That's
Yeah.
now. That's
Yeah.
now.
Right. Mhm.
George Floyd, I felt that when he asked for
Ooh.
his mama.
Yes. Mhm.
I felt that
Yes.
when he asked for his mama.
Mhm.
When Philando Castile was shot twice after
Mhm.
telling the police officer that I have a gun, I'm getting my thing, I'm getting this, shot
Yeah.
twice and dying in front of his kids because his
Yeah.
baby was in the back seat.
Yeah.
That's now.
Mhm. Mm. 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 Mm.
That's now. And let's forget the death. The difference in between your baby going to school
Mhm.
and them asking her if she's supposed to be there.
Mhm.
You see what I'm
Mm.
saying?
Yeah.
Is this where you belong? That's now. People
Mhm.
keep saying on TikTok constantly, they keep saying this is this is then and slavery was all the way back there and Jim Crow was back there and civil rights was back there. But Black
Mm.
Lives Matter is right now.
Right. Mhm.
Young students in colleges are being asked if you belong here right now.
Mhm.
Black women are dying at an alarming rate to have a baby right now.
Yeah.
That's not some faraway thing that's happening.
Hmm.
Right now, they're teaching that slavery wasn't slavery; it was forced immigration, and we don't want to hurt white kids' feelings by teaching American history. So we're not going to teach Black history anymore, and we're going to get rid of these books because we don't want to hurt the little white kids' feelings with what happened in the past. But it's not happening in the past because last week we took all the little black kids out of the fourth and the fifth grade and put them in the lunchroom so that we could tell them that they're the reason that the school's test scores were bad and that they're going to get shot or go to jail because their test scores were bad. That's what they were telling these kids, 4 and
Wow.
5 year olds. That was last week. So this
Wow.
is not some faraway thought process. This is not some it happened in the past. Yes, the past, but the past was last week past.
Yeah.
And
It was
that
it
takes
was
me all
past.
the way back.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what Trump did to America. He made
Mm.
it okay. Because
Yeah.
before that shit wasn't happening where you could see it. Before
Mm-hmm.
they were doing that stuff in the privacy of their own home, in their own
Mm.
country clubs, in their own backyard. They were
Right.
doing that in their little small towns where, yeah, it wasn't, you didn't know about it because they don't live there. But
Mm.
now they can do it out loud. Now you have, uh, you have Nazis, not 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 the what they call what they used to call them, baby. Say Nani. What they
Na-
call
Nazis.
it's
Yeah.
neo Nazis. No, no. Nazis are like Nazi Germany. Because before they would say neo Nazis, neo being new.
Oh, yeah.
No, we're talking about real Nazis. We're talking about SWAT stickers. We're talking about still Highland Hitler and all that stuff.
Mm.
That's happening now. Every time reparations are brought up about slavery, about some kind of reparations for the slaves in America, then
Mm-hmm.
they start talking about, well, slavery didn't just start in America. We didn't say it did. Do you know? So y'all can understand when they say what they say. Do you know that they paid slave owners reparations because slavery ended? But
Mm.
don't pay them. Don't pay reparations to the slaves who were taken from their homes and killed and raped.
Mm.
Children.
Yeah, that's oh.
Don't do that.
Mm.
Don't remember that. They wanted to argue about the statues being torn down of the racists and the slave owners and things like that.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah.
tear down our statues. But no, don't remember slavery. Slavery happened a long time ago. Well, she sold them statues. Right now, they don't want to teach American. They don't want to teach American history
Yeah.
where it contains the black people that they brought here to make America. They talk about what they built. They didn't build anything. They brought us over here so they wouldn't have to build.
Yeah.
They want to talk about let's make it so that we can have a good spin on slavery. So as a slave, you were taught these skills. Nobody taught slaves anything. Slaves couldn't even weren't even taught to read. They
Mm-hmm.
brought skilled laborers to America,
Mm-hmm.
and those in turn taught the white folks.
And they brought them on them boats and ships. That's why I keep trying to tell people, y'all better stay off these Carnival cruise ships and stuff.
You
Don't y'all
were
know?
funny because we were talking about going on a cruise next year.
Don't y'all better stay off these ships and
We don't like how many cruises you been on? Three? Dang. Baby,
y'all
I say you say what you want to, but them look the cruise you can eat all day. I'm gonna be on a cruise. I'm
y'all
gonna be
better
on a
stay
cruise.
off the boats.
Look, it's not then. It's
Yeah.
not the past. It's the present.
Yeah.
And guess what? My son don't live in the 50s and the 40s and the 30s. He lives in
Right.
the 20s and the 23s. And I
Mhm.
have to worry about him walking
Yeah.
home every night.
Yeah.
I have to worry about the little black boy walking in the predominantly white neighborhood through the neighborhood.
Mhm.
That's what I have to worry about.
Yeah. Cause I worry about my niece too. Mhm.
I have to worry about when he and his friends go hanging out and he's the only little black boy in the car. Or him and Josh, his other little friend.
Mhm.
Josh is like me, he's biracial.
Mhm.
But he looked like me. Him and look like brothers. I have
Mhm.
to worry about them when they're in the car with their little white friends.
Mhm.
Not because their little white friends don't do nothing, but because they're gonna see them two little black boys as two black men, and they're gonna
Mhm.
see their friends, little black boys and little white boys.
Mhm.
They're gonna look at you. You know they do that. They look at 8, 9 year old little black boys as
Mhm.
men. They put them in handcuffs. They put a little
Mhm.
boy in handcuffs in New York. In New York,
Mhm.
for stealing a bag of potatoes since he was 8 years old. They put him in handcuffs.
Mhm.
Where was his mama?
Yeah.
Because somebody said this is why they put the little boy in handcuffs. Because somebody said the little boy stole some chips. Not that he stole the chips. Not that they found the chips. Two
Mhm.
adult cops turned into 6 adult cops for an 8 year old boy. That happened this past year.
Yeah.
See, it's not history.
Right.
It's
Mhm.
reality.
Yeah.
And we have to, and it's a hard thing to navigate because you don't want to feel that way.
Mhm.
You don't want to see the difference between white and black people because you know at the end of the day we gonna die the same. We gonna end up the same in the
Mhm.
same brain. You don't want to, but it's a
Mhm.
reality. So you got to figure out how to navigate.
Mhm.
But then you have situations like Trump coming in and emboldening those that don't want to navigate
Mhm.
it, and embolden those that want to say nigga, and
Mhm.
embolden those that want to burn crosses,
Mhm.
and embolden those that want to shoot through the door because they took, because the white lady took the little boy's iPad. So the mama knocked on the door to get the iPad back, and the
Mhm.
white lady said she feared for her life, so she killed
Mhm.
that little boy's mama because
Right.
she took the little boy's iPad.
Mhm.
Or because do you know how many times in the South I have had to turn my car around in somebody else's driveway? Never not one time did somebody pull a gun on me.
Mhm.
Do you know how many? I can't stress this enough. Race and the issues of race in America have been there as long as America's been here. But
Yeah.
only recently has it gotten to the point where they're not even scared anymore to be that out loud.
Yeah.
At some point, they have the dignity to do it at their house.
Mhm.
You know, old boy said nigga when y'all ain't around, but he didn't do it in front of you.
Right. Mhm. Mhm.
Trump made him be able to do it in front of him.
Mhm.
He gave him the balls to do it in public because
Mhm.
he could do it because this, his mug shot. And while I never want you to be not the compassionate person that you are, when I
Yeah.
saw his mugshot, I just laughed because his mugshot is a combination of every dastardly bullshit deed he's done.
Yeah. Yeah.
From the from the full paid ad in the '80s
Yeah.
to telling black folks that they wouldn't never live in his apartment complexes and
Yeah.
his condos
Mhm.
to telling women that I can just stop and kiss a woman because they ain't gonna do nothing to me. I can
Yeah.
grab them by the pussy if I want to. They ain't gonna
Yeah.
do nothing to me. I could shoot somebody in front of the police. They ain't gonna do nothing to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I could make fun of the disabled. I could
Right.
I could be overtly racist and bigoted and discriminatory and biased against people, and nobody's going to do anything to me. Not only are they not going to do anything to me, they're going to put me on a pedestal and they're going to worship me.
Yeah. You
They're
make me.
going to, how the hell, how the
Mm-hmm.
hell you going to start a GoFundMe for somebody's name who is synonymous with money? Do
Mm-hmm.
you know broke white folks started a GoFundMe for Trump's
Yeah.
thing, a
Yeah.
name supposedly synonymous with money? Why would I? That's just like me starting a GoFundMe for Beyonce. I'm almost positive that bitch don't need my $32. Okay,
Right.
I'm almost positive Beyonce don't need my $32.
Right.
Not like my son or my dog do.
Mm-hmm.
He made it so he suspended reality some kind of way.
Yeah.
He came at the right time and he made reality flip upside down and inside out. He
Mm-hmm.
made it he made it so that we didn't have a president.
Mm-hmm.
We had a cult leader.
Mm-hmm.
These people have their houses covered in Trump flags.
Yeah.
They make up things about. They
They got
said
big trailers around here. They got
they
Trump country
said
around here.
they said that they suspended reality.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, JFK Jr., who is dead, is going to come back to life and be Trump's vice president next year. Yes, I want you to Google um, um, Trump supporter interviews and just listen to some of the stuff they say.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Mm.
Women, women, old white women got T-shirts on saying, "I'll help him grab her by the pussy,"
Oh, okay.
or "I want him to grab." And I'm trying. And here's the thing. Here's the thing. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, I can ignore all of that.
Mm-hmm.
He ain't cute enough to do none of that.
Girl.
Let's just
Okay.
talk in basic stuff. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying? I ain't
right.
talking to y'all. Let's just talk in let's just talk about
Right.
just 100% superficiality.
Right.
There's absolutely
Lisa, you're not gonna
the
worry.
least sexy man. You know what I'm saying? I don't understand what they this baby.
You're not gonna worry me, not today.
Well, I'm just saying. Let's just say, okay. Let me say it because it's gonna be. I'm just gonna say it because I'm gonna say it.
Mm,
It's cute work, pretty
mm,
work,
mm,
attractive work,
mm,
handsome work. You
mm.
will allow a pretty man to do something for 20 minutes longer than an ugly one. Tell me I'm lying. Tell me I'm lying. To what? Because beauty and ugliness is 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 is, is individual perspective.
See, you can't.
Perspective.
I have to be
What
honest with you. If I
what
had a
you
soulmate here, they would tell you, nah, cause Krista like ugly men. I love me an ugly man.
and I understand that because there is a certain amount of
What I will say, what society call ugly. I
right.
find it.
There's a certain amount of confidence in a man who is not aesthetically pleasing, but it's some about you. Case, let me tell you who was an ugly man, but it was something about him that I could understand why women dated him. Biggie
Hmm.
Small.
Okay, yeah.
He had a certain thing about him, and every
Hmm.
night he could smile, he'd go, "Oh, I see why Faith was with him." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's not Trump. There's
Hmm.
not a, there's not a. Oh, I can see why people see that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's none of that. I did not think if I to look at Obama, Barack Obama, President Obama, he was a nice looking uncle, but I wouldn't. He wasn't attractive to me.
Ooh, girl. No, honey. I have to. Ooh, Obama can
But he
get it.
wasn't attractive to me.
Yeah.
He wasn't attracted to me. I am more attracted to the darker skin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like dark. I like dark.
And he
But it's
wasn't ugly, but he wasn't ugly. But it was his confidence. I wouldn't date. I wouldn't look at him like, oh, I want to date Obama. Ooh, yeah. But I could, but he wasn't ugly. But I just, to me, he wasn't like, ooh, Obama, yeah. No, that, no,
and
no.
see, and I love a slim man and a tall slim man too.
I like
See
a
that?
tall, big man. I like him. I like him. I like him, little husky.
Oh, okay. No, I don't
I,
do
I,
husky. I don't do
I like.
husky. I don't do fat. I don't. Mm-mm. You got to be
I could date.
skinny.
I could date a basketball player,
Mm-hmm.
but I prefer a football player. You see what I'm saying? As far as body types go. When even
Okay.
on the football team, I wouldn't date a quarterback or a running back. I would date a lineman.
Okay. Got you.
Yeah. So I like. I mean, I'm sorry. Again, I'm gonna go back to where I was raised. I was
Yeah.
raised in the South.
Okay.
There's a big boy coming down there. In dating women,
Mm-hmm.
it's different
Okay. See,
because when
I
you,
like this.
I think when you were dating, when I was dating men, it was purely a physical, how I reacted to the physicality of that person.
Okay.
Because I never saw myself, I never, I never saw forever. Does that make
Mm-hmm.
sense? I have
Okay.
love, but I never saw that. I never saw the rocking chair. I never saw the end
Okay.
until I got women, and it was different.
Okay.
I still had a type,
Mm-hmm.
but I could date anybody.
Okay.
As I've gotten older, even my men thing has changed because there was a time there that the blacker the berry, the sweeter juice.
Mm-hmm.
Now I realize that had I been paying attention and had
Mm-hmm.
I been in a more diverse environment, I would have dated I would have dated like Samoans and
Mm-hmm.
Islanders. To me, Jason Momoa is the perfect man
Okay.
because he's silly. Not just because he's pretty,
Mm-hmm.
but because he's silly.
Mm-hmm.
And because he doesn't know that he's pretty.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Growing
Mm-hmm.
up, everybody used to, I don't, I think it was because growing up, everybody used to tell me how exceptionally pretty I was. I didn't
Yeah.
see that. I never learned how to take compliments. I'm
Okay.
56. I don't know how to take them. I
Oh.
never wanted to look different than everybody else, and I did.
Mm-hmm.
I never wanted to be different than everybody else, but I was. I
Mm-hmm.
could sing since I could talk, but I had debilitating stage fright to where I could get on stage, and if I opened my eyes, I couldn't sing,
Okay.
and it stopped me from doing things. I
Okay.
hated the attention that how I looked and what I did brought to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I like it when people don't realize what they look like.
Mm-hmm.
People who realize what they look like, you know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Like to me, Denzel is fine, but I wouldn't. He if he was just Denzel dude walking down the street, he wouldn't cause anything back and forth for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay. See, I'm
I
attracted to opposite of me. I'm short, I'm fat, and I'm bright. I want everything the opposite of me.
I do. I want, but I don't want the skin. I think because I've always been heavy, I feel
Uh,
like if
so,
somebody's skinny, I think I'm gonna hurt them, break them. You know,
girl.
I
Mm-mm.
feel I don't know. I'm crazy, so it is. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
I know my stepmom always tell me, she be like, I don't understand why you be wanting them talking about them skinny men. Girl, you too big to be talking about a skinny
Oh,
man. And
skinny,
I
skinny
was like,
folks love a big girl.
girl, she,
They love a big. When I was
I
young.
was like,
Oh,
Mom. I'm like,
You
man, you
don't
don't
want
know.
to
I'm like the skinny men I done dated. They told me it hurts to be in the bed with another skinny lady. They be wanting them big girls. Sure.
hold on. The thing came out. You know,
Uh, I
boy,
said,
you
I
don't go to work off easy.
huh?
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. I like. I don't know. I don't know. I just. I mean, as I've gotten older, I've become more less firm. You know what I'm saying? But I don't have to be firm because I'm with my forever. So all
Yes.
these
Right.
is just, I didn't just because I fell in love and mean I was blind. I ain't blind.
Right. Okay.
Jill Scott show up at the door, baby. No, Like, hey. But if Janet Jackson show up at the door for her, I'd be like, do what you gotta do. That's Janet. Shit. I ain't nothing. Look, they show up at the door. I ain't nothing I can say. You know how you know? It's like I think that this is all the way up. I think that when you get into that relationship,
Mhm.
that one, that one that people tell you about, and the one that people write about in books and movies and stuff, and you don't
Yeah.
think it's real, but then you actually get into it and you realize, oh shit, that you're comfortable. I don't.
Yeah.
I'm not a jealous person. I don't care. My wife went to Janet's concert. I was like, did you touch it?
Oh.
Like a real Janet movie. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I'm not that. I don't. I don't look. I don't. I don't look at my wife as somebody who can't look at somebody else and appreciate somebody else's beauty. There's no disrespect in that.
Right.
The disrespect comes when you disrespect.
Right.
There's no disrespect in acknowledging the beauty of anyone.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, because my baby, she say, "Yeah, I like, the one for you, baby, I hit that.
Oh.
You get it. No, I'm just playing. But I mean, but she could tell me that, and I wouldn't be mad.
Okay.
I wouldn't be mad. Like, baby, if you want to hear how I be hitting that, I'm like, you better hit it, nigga. Because I'm this is all the way off topic. I'm not that. I have come to realize if you hold them tight, if you strangle them, if they can't look, they can't talk to you, they can't express to you,
Yeah.
then that's not where you're supposed to be. Your partner, your person is easy. Your person is that person that without a shadow of a doubt that they got you falling, standing, sitting, sleeping.
Yeah.
You know that without a shadow of a doubt that it doesn't matter how many ass you walk in front of them, it's still the only ass they rubbing on is yours.
Right.
I had taken my wife before we was wife. I had taken her to the strip club and would take her to one now.
Oh God.
Let me tell you something. This is another topic altogether.
Mhm.
If somebody's gonna cheat on you,
Yeah.
you can't stop them.
Okay.
And you telling them what they can and cannot look at, what they can and cannot say, what they can and cannot do, is not
Mhm.
going to stop that.
Right.
Keeping women out of your house ain't gonna keep a woman out of your bed.
Mhm.
Keeping women off their phone ain't gonna keep a woman out their car.
Mhm.
I'm just saying women. I mean men, same thing.
I ain't gonna invite and just give them to them either.
No, no, no.
Fat.
What I'm saying is that if you're with a partner, your partner, man or woman,
Excuse me.
and you got a whole friend. Everybody got that whole friend.
Mhm.
Everybody got that friend they know.
Mhm.
Because I'm actually like I feel like I know I'm on video, but I feel like I'm on a podcast when people can't see me. So that's why I'm looking around because I ain't really looking at nothing. I'm just talking. But everybody got that whole friend.
Want
You
me
know
to
what I'm
come on
saying?
camera?
No,
Don't make
no, no. It's me. It's I find it easier to talk and get my point across when I don't have to focus on like a camera.
Okay.
And it's not that I'm disrespecting. I'm just talking.
Okay.
But we all got that whole friend. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
All of us got that.
Yeah, because I
If
got one.
you're if you're with somebody though that can't be in the house with your whole friend,
Hmm.
you was the wrong person.
Yeah.
I dated this guy, and let me tell you why. I dated this guy for a long time. We dated for my late 20s and my early 30s, right before I got pregnant with Nick. And we were still even flirting with dating right before I got pregnant with Nick.
Hmm.
And there was this little girl that my sister used to bring around that was very promiscuous. She was looking for something. She was one of
Hmm.
those little girls that were looking for her daddy and everybody.
Hmm.
And she was having sex with men way too early. Her mother had put several men on statutory.
Oh,
Yeah, but she was seeking the men out, but she was a child.
yeah.
She was running out. She was running away from home, leaving her house, talking about she was going down the street to meet a man when she was 13 years old.
Oh boy.
So my sister was bringing her around to try to get her out of that. Try to show her, give her another focus. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
So, when I think we might have been exes at the time, but we were still friends. So we were still doing grown folk stuff. So he came over to the house, and so
Hmm.
she was there, and I walked out of the room because he a hoe. He was a cheater too, but he ain't gonna disrespect me in the house. Does that make sense?
Hmm. Hmm.
So I had no problem leaving that little girl in his room because what he did was when I came back in the room, she was sitting over there, her face was balled up. I was like, why is her face balled up? I said, why is her face balled up? He told me, he was like, because she was over there, she was being inappropriate with me, and I told her that I'm not gonna do that. I'm like, you shouldn't do that either. If you're with somebody that ain't gonna do that, you with the wrong person. Now, while we was at the time was more friendly than anything because he couldn't keep his hoe in check. His hoe was strong. He had a strong one. He had a hoe that was hanging on, boy. His hoe was hanging on. And eventually I had to learn that. And we just became more friendly than anything else.
Yeah.
Because you know that one person that think you supposed to be there forever no matter what they do?
Oh yeah.
That was him. That was him.
Mm-hmm.
So eventually, we stopped dealing with each other like that. And he finally got married and grew up and everything. It was fine.
Yeah.
But if you're with somebody, because I don't, my wife doesn't have to be sitting next to me to keep me from having sex with somebody else.
Yeah.
My wife doesn't have to be sitting next to me to keep me from being inappropriate with somebody else.
Yeah.
She ain't got to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, were there people I dated past that had to be there? Yeah. But I wasn't really a cheater because I'm the kind of person that if I'm going to do something, I'm going to tell you. I have been many a boyfriend at the time when I was still dating guys that I told I'm going to do something you ain't going to like this weekend, so I think we should go on and break up today.
Oh my God, Lisa.
I was confused back in the day. Don't let this look. Because back in the day when I was growing up, back in the
Jesus.
day when I was old enough and dating and after 18, after I got my heart broke that first time,
Yeah.
you gonna
Oh.
let all this? I was saying I could take a bandana that you buy from Walmart for 98 cents and wear it as a belt. That's how fine I was.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
had all the booty and all the titties, but I had no waist.
Mm-hmm. I know that's how oh girl, that's how I was. Oh God.
And had I been and had the fashion from the 80s been like it was now, when you look girl, where you can walk around with your ass out, titties out, and nobody say nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, trust me, I'd have been tittylicious.
Yeah.
Trust me, I'd have been half-ass naked. It just wasn't the fashion of the time.
Yeah. I used to wear the sheer shirts with the where you could see my bra up underneath.
Well, I
And
ain't gonna
plus
lie, back
and the shirt didn't start to button till it was right
like
below
like
my
navel,
breast.
navel, no,
Mm-hmm.
like navel. No, cause see, back in the day when I was going to the club, if my titties were out, I would have a long pants on a long skirt. If my
Mm.
ass was out, I would have on a high neck shirt. I ain't gonna wear no turtleneck or nothing 'cause I don't like, cause this shirt right here, that's why I keep moving it. I don't like
Yeah.
nothing around my neck, but
I
my
don't
boobs
either.
would have been out.
Yeah. I don't like.
You know,
Mm-mm.
if my ass was out, my boobs went out, cause I figured that's just too much at one time.
Mm-hmm.
However, had I been, oh,
What's wrong?
okay, not today.
Oh, see, I can't see the chat.
Okay, not today. Well, not today said. The fact that none of you can realize how corrupt Biden is, your own fellow citizens in Maui have been burned alive, and your president is giving billions to Ukraine, but can't help Maui. Come on now. Biden said the laptop wasn't his, it was. Here's the thing. You are stating not today, like this is fact. It's not.
Oh.
And you stating just having different talking points from the news cycles of what you're stating is fact.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure I could Google what you said and give points. Now, I mean, but people are going to see it. He didn't
Mm-hmm.
say anything disgusting. He just said what people that want you to be mad say.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not mad with not today. He can be blocked because you don't, and because because I stated in the beginning of this, in the beginning of this video, what I am and what I am not.
Mm-hmm.
Biden may be the lesser of two evils. I'm fine with that
Mm-hmm.
because a politician is going to politician.
Yeah. Right.
I don't trust any of them.
Right.
I think that all politicians, I think that the government in and of itself
Mm-hmm.
is not for the people
Mm-hmm.
the way it should be.
Mm-hmm.
Do I think that that's going to change in my lifetime? Nope.
Nope.
And my kids, like hell, my grandbaby, I don't even know if it'll change things. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know if or when it will change.
Right.
But I know that because I don't know everything, I don't act like I know everything. And when people start writing comments like this, like they know everything,
Mm-hmm.
there's no changing how they think or feel.
Yeah.
I don't know everything. You might be able to change my mind about some things. You'll never change my mind about Trump because that's not something I didn't just start disliking him because he was president.
Mm-hmm.
I never have.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's good as y'all think he is. I think the one thing that Trump is really good at is
It's
people.
manipulating.
Is
Mm-hmm.
people. He's good at finding people who are smarter than he is. Because
Mm-hmm.
the one thing he does know is he don't know shit.
Mm-hmm.
But he's smart enough to get the people that do.
Yeah.
But he's not smart enough not to get ones that won't get in trouble with him.
Yeah, cause he got him a whole slew of clowns.
Because
They
here's the
got in
thing:
trouble with him.
if you are you let's look at Trump like a rap star. He's a rapper. Let's look at him like that. So everybody in your entourage is a yes man. Everybody in your entourage is somebody who's gonna be like, that's what's up. Do that. Yeah, uh-huh. Right. You right. Yep. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. You right. So that when push comes to shove and the shit hit the fan, they gonna be in the shit storm with you. You
Yeah.
need somebody in your crew. Your crew needs to be 90% of somebody who will tell you the truth.
Yes.
Maybe one or two yes men who will make you feel okay about yourself. But the rest of your crew needs to be somebody to tell you, don't go here, don't spend your money there, don't rap that, don't sing this, don't date this girl, talk to your mama. You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
Trump feels his Trump stuff with people who looked at him like an icon, like a legend, like a
Yeah.
leader. They
Yeah.
didn't feel he didn't feel it with people who was gonna tell him, dog, don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
He filled it with people who would go to jail with him.
Yeah.
not people who would keep him out of jail.
Yeah.
And therein lies the problem. I never liked him. I never thought he was the businessman people thought he was because his business was closed too quick. He was smoking mirrors. He was he was he was like he was like costume jewelry.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't look at it too close, it's beautiful. It's amazing.
Cubans are
If you
calm.
don't if you don't look at it too close,
Right.
it was worth $1 million. But as
Yeah.
soon as you picked it up, you went, "Oh shit, that's flag."
Yeah.
That's how he's always been to me. So I just knew he wasn't gonna be president too. That's what threw me. I went to bed securing the knowledge that when I woke up, Hillary was gonna be president. When I woke up and that was not the case, I was like, "The fuck? What? What
Yeah,
horror movie did I wake up in?" Because I just knew they weren't gonna put somebody completely unqualified as our president, and he was unqualified.
yeah.
I don't care what anybody says. Running a government of billions of people is different than running a business of
Yes,
thousands
it
of people.
is. Yes, it
And
is.
while you may want somebody who is what they said was draining the swamp, he made the swamp. He made most swamps.
Mm-hmm.
He swamped us out because he didn't know what he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
That's just like, okay, I'm a badass bartender. I can run your restaurant. I can run your nightclub.
Mm-hmm.
I can run your grocery store. I can run your office.
Mm-hmm.
But if you put my ass in the surgery, I'm going to kill you.
Jesus.
You're going to die.
Oh, I
If
wasn't
you
ready for
put
that.
I read the law like people read fiction novels.
Right.
It is my hobby. Ask me about that.
Right.
However, do not take my medical advice. You're going to die. Don't do
Right.
it. 'Cause I don't know shit about it. You see what I'm saying?
Right. Mhm.
I'm looking at everything. What window? I'm looking around. I don't know. Like I said, oh, I don't know why. I am looking at the window too. That's killer boy. Um, I'm gonna die. It is what it is. You're gonna die if
Right.
you don't do it. I can't do it. Don't. I can't make your vaccine. I can run the front of your business.
Right.
I can't look. I can run your business, but I can't build that bitch because I promise you, you want me in the back trying to build it. Your building gonna fall down. Your
Yeah, I
building
can't.
gonna fall. You gonna die. Don't do it. The
I'm
only
gonna.
reason
I gotta have
I
somebody like over me and something. I can't.
I didn't think Hillary was like, but Hillary had been on the job
Yeah.
forever. She knew the front and the back of the White House.
Mm-hmm.
And while I think all of them are corrupt, that includes Barack, not so corrupt, but I all think they're all politicians.
Yeah.
They're going to tell you what you want to hear to get
Mm-hmm.
what they want, and then once they get where they want, they're going to do what they got to do to stay where they want. But you,
Mm-hmm.
general public, mean nothing because you ain't got the dollars to mean anything.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna do what they gotta do for these companies, which is why nobody has shut down the NRA, which is why nobody has ratified the Second Amendment and changed it, which is why they do other amendments and ratify other amendments, but they ain't touched that one because that's a multi-trillion-dollar business.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why the Second Amendment is still the Second Amendment and your kids are still scared to go to school. Which is why they
Mm.
have bulletproof backpacks.
What?
Bulletproof backpacks.
I ain't heard about that. Oh my goodness.
Why schools have now they don't have tornado drills. or weather drills or fire drills. They have
Mhm.
active shooter drills. But
Yeah.
instead of changing the laws to make it so that every Tom, Dick, and Harry can have a automatic military style weapon, hear what I said, military. And this
Mhm.
has to do with the politicians. And this includes all of them, the ones you liked and the ones you didn't like.
Mhm.
Instead of them doing something to curb that, the politicians, all of them, do nothing. They make little bitty state politicians, your governor do something. There are states that have laws that change, but are they going to do anything across the board? So that because Rufus get up in the morning, he decides that he wants to shoot 13 people. He can't quite do it with his revolver, but he can go down to the store and get an AR-15 and spray everybody.
Hmm. There go that doggone Rufus again.
Yeah, Rufus, hell boy. I can't think of
Them
no other name. Right now I'm stuck on Rufus. I don't know. I had a dog named Rufus, by the way, but anyway, so
Rufus ain't
he's a
no
good dog.
joke.
Rufus is a good dog. Hey, he wasn't an old ass dog. He was a good dog. His name was Rufus. Cause I don't know. I like old black man names. I don't know why. I wouldn't name my son no old black man names, so I like old black man names. Anyway,
Oh Lord.
politicians are politicians. But I think that in certain jobs, you got to have somebody who know what they're doing. And at the
Yeah.
time when Trump
Yeah.
became president the first time, when he became the 45th president, that was a mistake of epic proportions. It
Yeah.
threw America back decades.
Yeah.
America, people were scared. Let me tell you
Yeah.
something.
Yep.
From the time from JFK down, started JFK presidency, and worked our way down, the world was scared of America.
Yeah.
Korea, South and North,
Mhm.
China, Japan, Cuba, everywhere, Russia.
Yeah.
The
Cause he
only people
told.
that ain't scared of America is the Middle East, is Israel. Because guess what? Even America ain't gonna fight nobody been fighting a war for thousands of years. Because there's a
Mhm.
reason why they still there and ain't nobody messing with them. They do
Mhm.
their thing, they be over there doing their thing, killing their own people. There's a reason why. But I digress.
Mhm. Mhm.
People scared of America
Yeah.
until he was not a diplomat. He could other leaders were laughing at him on the nose,
Yeah.
not shaking his hand. Who the hell don't shake the president's hand?
Yeah.
Ignoring him.
Yeah.
Do you know America's
It's a
actually
joke.
there are countries all over the world that are looking at America for war crimes as to how they treat us?
Mhm.
How the police
Yeah.
treat black people is actually a war crime in other countries.
Mhm.
Hitler used Jim Crow and the laws that they had against black people. And what he did, he looked at American Jim Crow as a model for how he did Nazi Germany.
Mhm.
Y'all understand that?
Mhm.
One of the most prolific killers of all time of people
Mhm.
looked at American Jim Crow as a model as to how they can do their thing.
Hmm. Yeah.
Oh, how do you know? How do you know what Trump did or didn't do? And how do you know how many people? Stop coming on my page. Goodbye. How do you know? I have not come at anybody with any statistics, no numbers. This is what I feel, what I believe, and what I see in the news. I
Right.
ain't got no numbers. I'm not telling nobody no numbers of how many people he did this and did that because I don't know. Because the only thing I know is what people tell me. I
Mhm.
hear the music. That's my wife putting me off
Oh,
live.
okay. Well, thank you, Lisa, for having me to come up and talk
You know
with
what?
you.
You should come do it any other time. Because me, you're the nice side of me. So come along.
Okay.
There has to be, I mean, there's a yin and a yang. There has to be the opposed. And that's not to say we're
Okay.
opposition. That's not an opposition. It's that you're gonna look for the maybe, you're gonna look for the, give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm gonna look for it. No, the fuck not. No.
Yeah.
And
Okay,
that's
before DC
fair.
click me off, let me leave. All right. Bye, DC. Bye, everybody. Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Lisa.
listeners. Thank you so much. I want to thank
All right.
everybody who came along today. Everybody who sees us in the replay, thank you for listening to it. Make sure you hit that like button if you haven't already hit it. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Hit that notification bell. So anytime we drop a video go live, you guys can join us. These are my opinions. These are not facts. These are my opinions. And we're gonna disagree, and that's cool. So I love you, Leilani. Thank you. I'll see y'all later. Y'all have a nice one. This your girl Lisa, and I'm out. Hey.